Starts, but then later there's running and screaming.
G'day everyone, Matt over here.
Sorry, is that me? That's me.
The Brickheadz here. At least I know the sound's working.
Why is Wally flat on his back? What are you doing?
Went a bit Wally.
Guys, I'm so lucky that I have you, because if I didn't, I would be pregnant by the end of the night and having fake parties who all rob me of my VIP points.
Yeah, I suppose skeletons really not going to cost you an arm and a leg, are they?
To the Leicester Square store, and they had 3 people stood around feeling bags for the whole time I was there. What are you doing?
I was terrible at feeling those bags. I just can't.
I was. I was. I had security in Sainsbury's. Was it Sainsbury's? Morrison, all looking at me. And Tom said to me, I think we're being watched. I said, I'm not bothered. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm feeling bags.
But I haven't got a Woody. That sounds dodgy. I haven't got a Woody minifigure.
There's 2 now! It doesn't matter!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to Sammy Wick's live stream number 34 in this season. Hope that you're all going well, whether it's morning, evening, after night. And shout out to the replay gang as well, particularly Brian's Bricks, who again left a comment after the stream. So if you're watching this back as a replay gang, leave a comment and I'll give you a shout out in the next one. And usual social media stuff, share, like, subscribe. There'll be people around underneath the video and around it who'll be on the panel. By all means, check them out. They've usually got their own YouTube channels and other social media such as Instagram and things like that. And I think we'll just quickly do a little bit of a plug for the sponsor, so help pay for a few things, so we'll get them in. This video is brought to you by McCatsim Holiday Homes in Margate and Broadstairs. Great for a week's holiday or a weekend escape, being just over an hour east of London, UK. Treat yourself to amazing sunsets, a Lego wall, or great food. Visit www.mccatsim.com and mention this YouTube video and we'll look after you. And with that out of the way, I think just say a quick hello to a few people there in the chat, which is seeing starting off and being quite busy tonight, which is good to see. So we had Omega in, hope that you are going well, and King Oldendorf with the usual moan, and I think got picked up there by Brick Askew saying moaning Myrtle anyhow, I better get some people in, otherwise the voice here is going to go bad in a second. And welcome along to Brickapex. Hope that you're going well. I think I saw some holiday happy snaps. Were you in Spain or something at the moment? Hope that you are enjoying anyhow. And who else do we have in, which I haven't picked up on yet? KO, we already had there. And Simon along, and our good old buddy Tech Productions as well. So I think with that said, in the third hour, we'll be doing the final Ahsoka show. They had the series finale yesterday for season 1, so no spoilers into that third hour. Have a few extra people in for that as well. And I think also too, we had Midlab, which we didn't say hello to, so hello to them as well. And I think with that there, we'll start bringing some people in, and I think we'll start off with somebody who during the week managed to finish off their White Whale set. So they were really able to savor that and enjoy it. So welcome on One Brick Stud. How are you going?
Yeah, not too bad. All good. Yeah. It's all finished, all done. And just loving it, you know. I've spent most this week just like that. Well, since Monday. Just like
Hopefully with a little bit more light so you can see what's happening.
Absolutely. I'm having some lighting issues. I put the main light on and it looks like I've got no blood. I go so white, and I just rely on this tiny little light here. So I might invest in a light ring of some sort just to help me with the lighting issues. But I hope everyone can see me.
Yeah, we can all sort of see there. So back to the dark there. So it's good there. And yeah, while Tech's still around, shout out there. Have you had a baby yet? Because I believe that was due possibly a week ago now. So hopefully you can get a bit of an update there. Although I'm seeing, Simon said, how's life as a parent, Tech? So maybe it has happened. So, in which case, I think Kerry there will be echoing our sentiments of congratulations if that is the case. And then, yeah, is dad boy or girl if we have that there? So, sorry, just I know Tech might be flying out pretty soon. So, back to, I suppose last week we got a little bit lucky and had the vampire version of Chris there and he's all lit up.
Yeah, I know. It's a light ring. A light ring will solve it, I think.
Yeah. I think we were having just a little bit of a chat backstage before that, and I think I usually have it sort of filming or something, so I never get a chance to put it around there. And I think occasionally somebody's had a bit of a joke in the chat and said they've been Matt's light ring or something. So. Again there, and here we have confirmation. Hello all, and yes, beautiful baby girl is here in the world. Congratulations, Tech. Hope that you're all going well with that. Yeah, that's brilliant, and hope that mum and baby are well and everything like that. And your life has now changed, and I'm sure that you're lining up all sorts of interesting little. My mind's just gone blank at the moment here. Advent calendars and all those sorts of things, which sure they'll be for her, but I'm sure you'll help out with the opening until they can get those control and reflexes happening. And everybody else saying congratulations, mid-lab, a girl. So it's the mini page then. Woo! Thanks guys so much. They're all doing very, very well. Okay, that's brilliant to hear. So an extra one to join the clan. Congratulations again, Tech. And we'll get some other people in, so I'm sure they can share the sentiment as well. Saw the comment there. It's dupe learning. I'm eyeing up. Yeah. To be fair, there's some really expensive pieces in that once they retire and everything as well. So I'm sure that you'll be well onto that. And with that said, I'll bring in our next guest, who I've now been doing STEAM is this weekend, the Great Western Brickshow, and going along, going to be displaying there as part of the London AFOLs, and part of that doing some little scenery, and built one of his trees, and then the kids this week built one of his trees as well. So welcome along to Brickers here. How are you going?
Hello. Yeah, good, thank you. Well, good. How you doing?
Yeah, good.
Oh, nice. Glad to hit a second tree. That's
So what you probably can't just see off screen here, I'll just move it one time because I'm going to try to be working on a little bit more tonight. I've just been working. That's the big tree I've done.
Oh yeah, wow. I did see there's a beast tree in the.
That's a tree.
One of your trees, and then the rest of
it. UCS tree. That is.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing the whole thing on Saturday.
Well, I think it's at this stage. I've got the thing where I'm building it, and then it's sort of like I know I'm gonna have to take it apart to transport it. Yet that's tomorrow's task. So it's kind of like what doesn't get done tonight, that's it, and then tomorrow take it apart and pack it. So,
are you driving? I'm guessing. Are you public?
Transport? Going to be basically once the kids finish from school, grab them and then just get going straight away because. It'll give about an hour to get around the M25 because we're the far end of it. So,
right.
Somebody's sort of like, "Oh, can we do something this time?" No. You need to try
That's
to get
good. At
around
least
that
you're
bit.
driving, not having to do a train or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's because the kids have got their own. They saw me building some bits and pieces, and then it's like, oh, can we do something? So it's like, yeah, well, I've got some extra pieces for a Mills plate, so they put it together and just give them some pieces.
That's all right.
And do whatever.
Getting people to do your outsourcing your meals plates. That's a winner.
Well, it was actually for them, so they've done a whole sort of one by themselves. So yeah, no, it's they've enjoyed it and certainly added a little bit of extra scenery. So cool. I suppose we've got one more person to bring in, and just trying to think what we were chatting about before. Oh yeah, just sort of annoying neighbours, so that we can, if you're in a flat, get them to move away, so then you can buy their place, so you can join up to it and have even bigger Lego rooms and more Lego rooms. So welcome along to Lady McBrick. How are you going this evening?
Hi there. You can't say that. Now it's out in the open. Now I can't do that anymore. I was planning to play All Innocent. Like, what? You want to move? I'm so sad, but
sad.
yeah, I will take over your apartment and I will keep it for you if you ever want to come back before strangers move in.
That's good.
No,
We can
my
always set this
mastermind.
video to private. It never happened.
Right.
So how you been otherwise?
I'm having a good week. I did something spectacular, something that I haven't done yet, but totally new to me.
GWP.
Yeah.
But as you see from the side, this is not the actual gift with purchase. While I got mine, I looked at the box, wasn't able to decide whether to open it or not, and then I decided I can re-brick that from my pieces that I have in my inventory. So that's now mine.
Nice. What are the handles? Is that? I'm guessing, is that Lego? Or is it?
That is Lego. For
Yeah.
some reason, those pallets are in the Technic-car that I recently built as well. And I have spare parts in the same color. I can't remember why. It must be some other Technic set that I parted out. But that's the best version as handled that I can come up with so far.
Is that there? So can you do you have like a little ball to be able to just give it a test run?
Strangely, I have a lot of balls, white ones, orange ones, real football ones. I don't know why I have so many balls. The strangest things. I collected so many parts over the last 5-6 years. So there must be a lot of balls, probably in friend sets. And it's really, really fun. It's some of the changes that I did are even better than the gift with purchase, because I added in window pieces. Now you can see all the time.
Yeah, you can see what's happening in there. So yeah, I remember in the group chat you sort of like, oh, I've just got the GWP. I don't know whether to open it or maybe. And then I think it was like a couple hours later. Yeah, I just re-bricked it out of stuff I had. Here it is. It's like
right. And I'm telling you, I saw Mark doing the modular buildings that he re-bricked. What I learned from my experience with this wee little gift with purchase, if I ever really want to do that, I really need the instructions, because it was so much work to go back and forth, go step by step, figuring out that I don't have the pieces, not really knowing where the build goes, and then have to go forward, realize whether I can use maybe something else instead, what the color code will be like. It's much easier when you have the paper instructions in front of you and can easily go to the back and see, okay, now I'm looking for this strange piece. How many else do I need of it before I go back and realize 2 steps further, I need another 2 of them. It's way easier with printed instructions.
Are the instructions online for that, or did you have to do it off of the box, like looking at the picture?
No, they are online.
Okay,
Otherwise,
right.
if I had to open the box, I'm so lazy. If I had opened the box, I would have put the.
Oh no,
the
yeah. I was
original.
wondering if you did it off the picture on the front, which is
Yeah.
even.
That would have been genius if I just
Yeah.
could look at like detective's office. I look at the picture. I don't know, you guys. Why do you need instructions? I look at the picture. No. Online instructions.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't realize they did them for the GWPs, doing the online instructions.
Yeah, I was lucky. It's that I got it.
Yeah,
At least I found it online.
Yeah, I've never particularly gone looking for the GLP instructions, but because usually most of the times with most sets, you've always got a few pieces which are either new molds or new colors. So you generally can't. You're going to have to do a substitute of some description, or if it's a mechanical piece or something like that, well, forget it. You just need to actually get it.
Right.
But I guess with something like that, yeah, it's largely going to all be there. It feels like it's been a strange little bit of week between that sort of GWP came out of nowhere. The Lego house is available in Europe again online, Europe and the UK.
Mm-hmm.
The wooden minifigure has just popped up again for sale, but it's under a different number. Like there was no sort of, I didn't even see it from anywhere official. It's just like somebody in a chat somewhere and said, guys, do you realize that the wooden minifigure's available again? Like, it's just like, what? So,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. There's a lot going on this month, isn't there? With purchases and I think it's like, what about 10 plus gifted purchases this month?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? They're really driving people to buy stuff, aren't they? Is it
Yeah.
Amazon Prime and it's Black Friday this month? Is it
No,
next
that's next month. But you've got Prime, I think, next week, 10 and 11.
Right.
That's
I
right.
think Lego's got a make and take in store next Thursday.
Okay.
And then, it's sort of like there's different GWPs all throughout the month and things. And because there's been one or two things I sort of looked at, it's like, haven't been able to get it from like other retailers, and it's like it's dried up. It's like, okay, I'm gonna probably have to get it from Lego. And then like the current GWP, I think I watched Duck Brick's video because I saw it originally. It's like, oh, that looks interesting. And then I saw him play it, and it's like after about a turn or two, it's like, I just put that aside and I wouldn't touch it again. So
Although it's better than I really have a lot of fun with it. I'm not really sure if it's because I spent a lot of time, long hours to figure out how to brick it together, or maybe it's really just fun because it really, especially in the first part, comes together quite nicely. It's enjoyable if you ever considered rebricking it. And it's quite sizable for 150
Yeah,
euro.
it's massive, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's big.
Yeah, it's
and then the other one, which Houses of the World 4 will be at some stage this month as well. I think you've got your Halloween polybag. Is that next week or the week after?
Yeah, I think the Halloween ones, the polybag in the 3-in-1, it's the same as last year's, isn't it? Because I remember when I got my wife the Disney Castle, because I got it because I was a bit concerned I was going to miss out because it was going to retire, and it came with, it was double points, and it was also the 3-in-1. And I remember it was I think I still got it. Yeah, I still got it. It's a witch that can turn into a cat. It can turn into something else. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
This is like a vampire pirate island or something as well. Is that right?
Yeah. There's another island, and I think, what was the other one you said? Vampire something, right?
Well, the island I think is like vampire pirates or something like that.
Yeah,
pirates and I think vampires. At least that's what someone online was saying somewhere.
Yeah, it's I think I've seen a couple of people on Instagram. There'd been a combination of leaks and the official ones and calendars from Indonesia or something. And I think Simon there, Pirate Cove next week.
Yeah, okay.
It almost just gets. It's just like, how do you keep track of any of this stuff? Like,
Yeah.
you have 10 in a month. Like,
I kind of find there's only like every year, especially in the repeated pattern over the past couple of years. There's always one gift with purchases I'm always interested in. That's obviously the Harry Potter one, but there's only ever like 2 or 3 gifts with purchases throughout the year that I'm particularly interested in. You know, this year's been phenomenal for gift with purchases. You know, Black Tron, the Disney 100s, GWP, but I've got my eyes on that Steamboat Willie. Yeah. At the end of the month,
sort of backstage that one's and TJ's also bringing up moving van possibly coming back.
That's right.
And just with the one you're talking about a second ago there, Chris, the Steamboat Willie, I think that's going to be on Marvel and Star Wars as well.
Yeah, that's right.
The last one.
If Steam wasn't this weekend, I would be buying from the Lego shop, but we'll see what I end up spending at the event.
What when are you looking to be there?
Saturday after 11. It's a bit of a mission to get there. I think it's like 3.5 hours and 3 or 4 different buses and trains and stuff to get there. So I think I leave at 7 in the morning and get there at 10:30 to swim.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, definitely have to try and catch up.
Absolutely. I'll come find you.
Yeah, come find a couple of your trees.
Sounds a bit like a threat.
Yeah, that's right. A little bit menacing.
And then, it was funny. Nicole would pick up on that. It's sort of like, come find you. Yes, I have a special set of skills I've taken a lifetime to acquire. And then KO, the reveal of the new modular pre-order this month, and that is the other weird thing is in the past, like the modulars have been pretty much under wraps. Like you know, there's always rumors, but you won't find out about them until 3rd or 4th week of December.
You tend to get like.
I'm pretty sure that it was never possible to pre-order them.
No, and that's why it's sort of. I think doing the whole reveal because it's like, oh, you two can pre-order the mystery modular. To get this one. So,
do you think it'll be the same again? You know, it comes out January, but you won't be able to get the gift with purchase until February.
Seems to be a thing that they're doing.
But if you do the pre-order with one of the GWPs this month, you get the GWP this month. So maybe that's also too why they're bringing back the moving van because it's sort of like, well, at least you have something which correlates with it. I don't know. It's a really bizarre one. I do wonder if obviously generally the economies are all softening and everything like that, and Christmas feels like it's been brought forward, and it feels like all the retail sales and things are being brought forward because next week I think on the 10th and 11th it's Amazon Prime, which I don't recall it being as big last year, but it feels like this one's going to be, and then we'll start getting all Black Friday, and that starts to, it felt like it used to be a week, and now it's dragging out to about 3 weeks in November. And
definitely been brought forward. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe giant Santas in August.
See, I've been quite oblivious to all the Christmas stuff. My wife was saying about it, and I was like, I think I've seen some mince pies, which was ridiculous in itself. But I've ignored a lot of it somehow.
Yeah. I really would love for the new modular if they really allow us to pre-order it. If they offer it to pre-order it, it would be amazing if they would send it out before New Year's.
Yeah, so you get it on January 1st.
Yeah.
Or I guess they wouldn't be delivered, but January 2nd or something. Yeah.
Is anybody pre-ordering it? Is anybody going to pre-order it?
No, I made I wrote to myself, I don't do that anymore. It's one thing that I learned from my Lego years of service. Don't pre-order. It's never a good idea. With a new modular, it takes months before it gets to the open market. But with everything else, I had my share with Harry Potter stuff. Don't pre-order Harry Potter sets.
No.
You get it later than when you buy it from Amazon discounted.
I wonder if the moving van is some kind of link between this year's modulars and next. Like
So
the Easter egg.
Yeah. Maybe it's just going to be a big warehouse. Or maybe they'll revert it back to sort of like a cafe corner where it's like all empty. And it's like, well, nobody's moved in yet.
Oh, that's funny.
What do we all think? I'm gonna think it's an hospital. I really do think it'd be an hospital. Could be wrong, of course, but what do you think? I know we had this conversation with Shy, but can't recall what you guys thought it might be. What would you want anyway?
Jokingly, a casino, but that's not.
Yeah, a
Casino.
nightclub.
Strip club.
Little slot machines.
Yeah.
I don't know myself, to be honest. Like, I'm not. Well, I was going to say I'm not really building a city. I'm actually building the construction site modular, the Bricklink modular right now. But I'm not. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to get this one at all, unless it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Every modular is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah. I don't own a modular, but I am getting tempted.
You started your city with Gringotts. You start big.
It's huge. Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, so good. Yeah.
I kind of hope that it's a museum.
Museum
would be really cool. Yeah,
that would be.
That's cool.
And it'd be nice. I mean, I don't know. I always think of a museum sometimes as a bit of a civic building, so it would fit in with like the town hall. And I know some museums are private, but it's just the way that it gets put in your head.
Yeah,
it's a big one, isn't it? So is it going to be similar to Assembly Square, where it's going to have multiple buildings and like a square of some sort? So a museum could work there.
Although 3,000 pieces is in 10 years ago, 3,000 pieces for a set would be massive. But a normal modular building has, I don't think, 2,500. So
yeah, is that how much it has? Yeah, okay.
Do you think it could be just two buildings? Because obviously Assembly Square's got three, if I'm right, and then you've got with the last modular being one building. It's technically two, wasn't it? Because you had the pizzeria next door. Do you think that this time, that with all the pieces that they're putting into it, it's just going to be one big building? Do you reckon they could do that? Do you reckon it will be that? You know, because we all think it's just going to be in 2 or 3 buildings, but it could just be one giant building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything like that before.
That's true.
The tricky thing is that even if it's one giant building and it could be a corner building, they still have to stay true to the layout. And when I look at the cinema, you lose a lot of space at the corner and the garage.
Do they have a format? Is it like they release a corner and then is it 2 like in a line and then another corner? There's a format to it, I think, isn't there?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to go back. It wouldn't surprise me because they have said in the past that when they design it, they sort of look at the last couple and, you know, they put it next to it and just sort of make sure that kind of, you know, it kind of fits within it, but it's still sort of different.
There's a video, was it about a year or so ago? Jamie, the Lego designer, did a video where he showed. I can vaguely remember he was talking and walking his way through all the buildings. There was a line of buildings, then there was another line of buildings, then another line. I think there was 3. But I think it's a good watch. It's good to see how they've progressed over the years.
Yeah, I think we're both. Yeah, that's the video which I think we've seen and referred to, and like what you said, it's it's interesting when they have those, because then you at least get a bit more of an understanding into the thought process of what's going on there. And I think, as KO was just saying here, I kind of hope this modular spread to a new theme like Star Wars and those ones there. I mean, you look at it like, to some degree, you're getting it now with Harry Potter, with Gringotts and Diagon Alley. You've, as TJ even sort of said there, Ninjago modulars, that's enough for him. Those have been big and good value and lots of that. I mean, Star Wars, you kind of...
Yeah, I don't know.
You do a little bit with the Master Builder series, but so far you've only really had Cloud City and
Cantina.
The Cantina, which it's going to be the sort of thing, if you're talking about different planets and different spaces, it's going to be really hard to do. Like, unless they... Because I think most people would go for the big iconic sort of structures first, as opposed to, here's downtown Coruscant, dry cleaners and...
I think the next proper decent building they could do is probably Jabba's hut or something.
They're talking about Jabba's throne room, isn't there?
That's
next year.
Next year, it's
because of the sail barge. The rumor is that there's going to be the Jabba mold, which will come out with both throne room and the sail barge.
That's right.
Oh, we had Boba Fett's throne room.
Throne room, yeah. That's going to retire this year too. So
it's not like that set. Don't look right. It's missing that dome, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was always the sort of thing at the time. It's like, well, where's the rest of it? And it's like, no, it's Boba's throne room. It's not Jabba's palace. It's just like,
yeah, it's got some cool figs that one there. Yeah, I got a couple of the figs from there. They're really good.
And Brickapix, so speaking of Harry Potter, I went to Goatland Station today. Chris, is that a reference we should know?
Goatland Station. I'm trying to think. What is it?
Okay, so it's not just me that's sort of looking and going.
Somewhere in York.
Yeah, I think Goatland, if it's up north, it's got to be Hogsmeade.
Okay.
I think Goatland's up north. It's got to be Hogsmeade. I think it is Hogsmeade because I can picture the red bridge that you go over. I can picture that. I think so. Could be wrong, but I'm very certain.
Confirmed Hogsmeade Station for the first film.
Is that what SMH?
Is that right?
Shaking my head. Yeah. Well, Kerry said is where Hogsmeade Station was filmed for the first film.
There we go.
Okay.
That's some good deduction there, Chris.
Yeah.
And then KO's too, with the one that we forgot about, Avenger Power, which I mean we've had the Daily Bugle, Sanctum Sanctorum, so it's kind of like a lot of the popular lines are getting sort of buildings of some flavor. I was on Bricklink today, or the last couple of days, and you've now officially got the pop-up shop option has been released there, and going through some of those, and it feels like 70% of them are just like modulars of some flavor.
Yeah, it does seem to be a popular thing, and like people are always submitting ideas for modulars, and they're never going to get through. They're cool, but Lego,
unless it's something like a fishing hut or something like that, which just doesn't quite fit in, but it's popular enough,
and it can stand alone.
But I think now between the different flavors of the Bricklink designer programs and whatever else, like all that stuff can now get out through that, because as you've got there, Chris, the construction site, and you had Castle in the Forest and Venetian and all sorts of things, and just sort of seeing Brickapix platform 93/4 shop as well, but I did not buy merch for that. Yeah, I'm just doing it to wind her up. So, like, you want me to do maths? 93 divided by 4? What are you doing? That's a weird prime number to be talking about. And DC theme is very quiet this year, just with the Bat Box. I guess
a Wayne Manor. Has there been a Wayne Manor in the past? Has there been like Arkham Asylum?
There was one,
Wayne
yeah.
Manor? There has, okay.
There has been. I can picture it. It's
Was that the one who's got them spinning down? It's got the Batcave beneath.
Yeah, that was the 66 one, based upon the TV show. But yeah, they've done different Bat Caves and the Asylum and different sort of Joker type theme parks and things. So it's DC. It feels like DC's been a little bit quiet lately. Like you occasionally, like they were doing quite well. Like you had the 89 Batmobile, the Batwing, re-release on the Tumblr. You had the Batman film last year, which a couple of interesting things. But
we had the Bat Box.
Yeah. I think DC meant to be making a bit of a comeback next year. Has there been a bunch of rumored sets? Am I making that up?
it's hard to keep track of these leaks.
You sort of see like when a brick click with video, it's like, oh, that's cool, and then you get like another one 3 days later and whatever. And you're like, I'm sure there's been stuff.
This year, I've become less interested in leaks than I have been before, because it's sort of like I just want to enjoy what I'm building and experiencing now. It's a bit like when we were just building Gringotts. It's like, oh, these sets are coming out next year. I don't even want to think about next year.
Yeah.
It's hard. It just stretches my mind. But I'm just kind of glad that, I think the only thing I like to see from leaks is just, the theme's continuing. That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
There's always that doubt, isn't there? There is always that doubt that things might not go ahead.
I'm always fascinating because for a couple of years now, I every year during the year, I think to myself, this year was crazy. I bought so much Lego. Next, and that can never happen again. And then the next year comes around, and it starts all over again.
It makes me crazy for good reasons as well, because the sets this year have just been immense.
Yeah, next year is going to be strong as well, right? Because there's the medieval village at least. With the goat. There's been someone in a Discord stream server that I'm part of who owns a Lego shop, or a toy shop, sorry. And they've been ordering stuff for next year already. They haven't said anything, but they're like, "You're in for a treat." Like, there's some amazing stuff coming out next year, apparently. Like, that hasn't been leaked. So very intrigued. So next year it's going to be an expensive one as well, potentially.
That is bad, because I bought the Viking village. I really was. I thought I had made my mind up not to buy it, especially when you guys talked about the Viking ship, and I decided not to buy it. I didn't buy the Viking ship yet, but I bought the Viking village. I bought the Winter Village, and when looking at the Winter Village, I thought, a Winter Village, that's the perfect set in addition to my Winter Village set.
Yeah.
Well, that's
fair. It does look really good. It looks like an awesome build. Yeah.
But Simon brings up an interesting question. Is everybody else less interested in getting sets early? I think half the time still just playing catch up, like just keeping an eye on the retirement list.
Retirement sets
like,
go first.
Yeah. And then there's...
And what does it mean early? Because as I said, I never would pre-order, because what sense does it make to pre-order?
You get it anyway.
Getting it like soon after release, which is how I'd interpret that. Which is some of it is, some isn't, I suppose.
Doing it straight from Lego is, it's like it sits on the warehouse on release day and the next 2 days before it's even gone out, and you're sort of like, and because we've had this before, we've been talking to other people who sort of like ordered it like on the day or whatever, and they've got it before the people pre-ordered it. And it's kind of like, well, what was the point of that?
Right. And you do not even get it at a better price. I get it when you want a special gift with purchase, and it's the only set that you want all year in order to get the set, it can make sense. But otherwise, buy it when it is released. You get it as soon or even later than the official one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time I buy stuff now within like the first month is if I'm kind of going to a Lego shop or like there's some kind of occasion to tie it to. So I'm a bit less fussy about if I'm going to save a tenner or something, because I've got, at least it's like got a memory tied to it. But
that makes sense. Yeah, I think that the pre-order is mainly for us psychologically, so that you can take it off your list. Like, oh, I really want the Green God set. It comes out, I will buy it anyway. I want it. And then you can at least tell your brain, I bought it. I will not get it before release day, but I bought it. It's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can forget about the money that you're going to spend on that and buy more stuff.
Yeah.
But I think also too, with particularly for us with Amazon Germany this year, it's like unless there's something you really, really want for the day one, it's kind of like, well, in 2 to 3 weeks it's going to be on sale anyhow. So like, you know, most of the Ahsoka sets, if you waited till now, you can get them for like good discounts and everything. The only time I've really pre-ordered was the Dream Shark ship, but that was because it was on a ridiculous discount. Okay, the box came pretty beat up, but threw it out anyhow.
I really am wondering, Amazon Germany, the Ghost ship is still official price. And there is a certain number of how many times it was sold in the last month, week, day, I don't know. And I wonder, who buys it from Amazon at the official price if you can buy it from Lego as well? It's 170 euros. You get it free shipping from Lego as well.
You get it next day from Amazon if you're not a VIP member or anything.
And it's also too, there's going to be a lot of people who are got Amazon accounts who don't have Lego accounts.
I'll be buying some coasters or something at the same time.
Sometimes you look on there and the prices that they sell like retired sets for and things like that, and it's almost like double what you pay on eBay, but they're still selling. Like I guess it's just that convenience and ease, and it's there, and
right. I saw today on Instagram a picture of the Phantom set with Thrawn in it, and who else was it? And Chopper. And out of interest, I thought I look it up on Amazon. It's available. 499 euros. Okay, that's a lot of.
That's gone because of the show.
Yeah.
Well, no, because combination of that, but the Ghost ship was always an expensive one. Like even a couple of years ago, I know there's a few people who are hunting it down, and again, it's just got rare minifigs, like the only ones that at that stage had some of those figures in it, and because it was based upon Rebels, which it seems that Rebels, yes, it had a cult following at the time, but a lot of people were discovering it later, particularly with Disney Plus, then coming along later and being able to watch it, and then all of a sudden it's like, actually, that's a cool ship, and there just weren't many of them sold, sort of thing. So, and that's where I think, getting back to your point in terms of going, well, it hasn't been on sale yet. It's been a combination of sometimes people go, well, because the old one was so expensive and whatever else, I'm going to get the new one or whatever, and so they haven't really had to do it, because you've seen that with a little bit with the Indiana Jones sets, again, because they were so long ago and not many people had them and everyone wanted them and they were really expensive and really valuable. And so then you've had recent ones, which the film not doing great didn't help. But
it's a good film, though.
Is there any Dial of Destiny, the fifth one? I think it lost 100 million.
That is bad.
Yeah, it's a sort of, so, has there been a time, like if you went online now, I think they even had the one with the ball or whatever, that's been on sale this week for like £86, like down from what is that, 140? Yeah.
I bought it, I haven't built it yet, but I'm going to look up how much the Ghost is because I had that.
All the Indiana Jones sets was the original price of those Indiana Jones sets. They were pretty good anyway. So if you can get even more off, that's not bad. Because I always thought they were reasonably priced, especially the one with the airplane.
Yeah, but it's the sort of thing where it's like £35 and you can pick it up for 23. Like, even at that, it's like a plane, a car, and 2 interesting minifigs. Yeah, well, but I suspect with the way that the film's going and the constant discounting, those Indiana Jones ones, I think they'll retire next year, and I don't think we're ever going to get another lot of Indiana Jones stuff because the film didn't do well. It's been part of, I think, something like the last 8 Disney films put together have lost almost 900 million or something. Like that.
Ouch.
I enjoyed the new Indiana Jones film. I thought it was good. Saw it in the cinema and everything.
The Dial of Destiny one.
Yeah, it's kind of classic indie. It's kind of like with The Force Awakens, where they just not quite where it was just like not a carbon copy, but very much influenced, and you could see the feel of it. Lots of nods to previous indie films, if I remember right. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Could never get into Indiana Jones.
Video. I thought video definitely was discounted heavily on Amazon Germany.
Yeah, I mean those sets were grossly overpriced. Like I think, like in the UK, like you walk into a Lego shop and it's like £18 for like the set with the case and the minifigure. It's like, in what universe is that even remotely close to something that,
Right.
So you generally see it all retails like £9, and then Amazon got into some discounting at one stage, and I think it picked up most of them for like £5 each. So like,
Yeah, and the sets as well. Because I only bought the boombox. I bought it at a really nice price, and I think I saw all the other sets as well, all the stages, the car, the unicorn set.
And talking about Starry Night, the Great Wave one too. I'm seeing that on discount this week for about 30-40% off somewhere.
Amazon had it for 30% off, 33%, but then Argos had it at like 50% off the other day. I think it was £45, but I think it sold out within like hours. It was long gone by the time I went and had a look.
And then there's another thing which went on sale that I think was because somebody was in Amazon and pressed the wrong button or something, and because that one disappeared about 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
So a couple of good deals. There's been the on Amazon, the Yavin 4. Yavin 4 was on discount. Yeah, and I was very close to purchasing it. I might still get it, and that is the Emperor's Throne Room, £60.
Yeah, I've seen that on discount. That's been tempting. And Endor. I did have to. I came very close to buying a bunch of stuff off Amazon the other day. I was like, no, I'll save my money.
That's the downside of too many discounts. In earlier days, when you saw a discount that was that good, you bought it because it was amazing and you had to. Now there are so many discounts. If you only bought it because it's discounted, you would be bankrupt.
It's odd. You got like a couple of sets in your head you really want to get, or just one set actually. So like in my case, I really want to get the Hocus Pocus set, and you can. There's no sales out there. Zavi, you put a code in, you get a $5 off. Not a massive difference. But then you got like, you sort of like Hocus Pocus. I want that set, almost retail price. But then another set like the Emperor's Throne Room comes along, and it's like £60. You think, should I get that? But it's like, you're focusing on a set that you really want to get, but it happens to be a lot more pricey.
Mhm.
So what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah.
Do you just play it safe, or get the set which is a really good discount, or do you just go for the set that you really, really want? What do you prioritize first?
It's a dangerous road as well.
Both.
It's so easy to like see a discount and you're like, okay, that's a really good price. Maybe I'll get that. And then you see something else, like you say, it's like, okay, it's a bit more, but maybe I'll get that instead. And you can just so easily go down the road. Like you've already committed to spending 50 quid on something. And it's like, oh, well, it's not that much further to go spend £65. And then, oh, well, now I'm already committed to £65. I can go up a bit more on something else. And before you know, you've got 100 odd quid's worth of stuff in your basket.
I'll tell you another set that always seems to be on offer, and I'm going to get it. Nicole's got it. It's just behind her head. Sanctum.
That's good. That was 135 quid this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picked that up, I think, about a year ago because it went down to like 135, and
I went for that.
That was 200 and what they came up with 225 or something
like that.
Yeah.
And
the minifigures are a bit like not great. I think some decent figures in there, but it's the buildings. You can't compare that. 135. I mean, the building's gorgeous.
Yeah, between the building and it's the Marvel modular for that sort of price. It's like. Why?
And it fits into a city as well. You can have it alongside other stuff really nicely.
I think it was the first time that we got these kinds of discounts before the set was released, because I can remember that it really shocked me. It came out, I saw it when it was announced. I really thought it's amazing. And then before it was released, Amazon already had it at an amazing discount.
Yeah, I think we had the same here with Costco. I think it was £40 off on the day of release, or even the day before, or 2 days before it was actually officially released. It was at a discount, and it's like, this is insane.
But I think
it's a lot of stickers,
and possibly the rest, certainly for the UK, like, last September, you got to remember we had Liz Truss in for whatever, doing all sorts of weird things, and that spooked a lot of retail, and it's kind of like since then things have kind of been struggling a little bit. So but I mean, getting back to what you're saying before in terms of how do you prioritize, it's sort of like, I think just have a hit list of what you'd be interested in. So for me, it's been a lot of Star Wars, which between Nicole and Amazon Germany, you've been able to get most of those things. So it's like, you see the Emperor's Throne Room for 60, 65. And it's like, well, we got that off Amazon Germany a couple of months ago for about 67, 68. So it's kind of like, well, and I think it gets to the point too where it's just like physically, you just don't have a place to put stuff. And just like,
that's definitely an issue, isn't it? Space.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I've been spending most of this week doing. Rearranging, trying to create more space. Spacing's now becoming a little bit more of an issue. And
you're gonna have to start taking some stuff apart. Have you dismantled any sets yet? Do you like cycle your?
No, I never done. I never done that. I've always been like, no, I don't. I mean, I only own. I own about. I think I did because I keep everything like on a spreadsheet. I think I own just under 70 sets or something like that. But so it's enough to just display. But I've got I got obviously bookcases behind me that's got a lot of depth. So I get like deep ones, so you can always like a lot of the Harry Potter sets I've got. I had I could have had like one behind another set, which I wasn't doing. So I've actually managed to get 4 or 5 sets on one shelf rather than having to increase. I've just been trying to just create space, and it's working. But I know like next year it's going to come to a point where I'm going to be struggling.
Get into mocking, then you can break it down, and it's fine. You could build such a cool little facade, or not little facade behind Gringotts there. If you just you could build a Diagon Alley style thing behind it. And
see myself mock it. I couldn't mock a minifigure. I'm that bad.
I wouldn't say that. You just need to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's it. Just start or modify something.
Well, it is again, Nicole. in a couple of months, I'm going to get the advent calendar, the Hogsmeade advent calendar. If I put the mini figures from the advent calendar into the Hogsmeade Village set, is that technically a MOC? No.
I'll let you answer that, Nicole.
It's a modification.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, yeah. Okay.
Sure.
All right.
But you never had a set, and you never looked at a set and thought to yourself, that's good, but I would prefer if there would be different windows, or if that would be a bit wider, or...
Because if I looked at a set and I look at it and I think that could be different, that could be fleshed out a little bit more, I wouldn't buy it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't get it. That's it, you know, that's it. But I have been intrigued to. I would like to have a go at it. I would like to have a go at expanding or just literally just fleshing out the up house. I wouldn't mind having a go at that. Somewhere, you know, just a set that's reasonably small, maybe get another one. You know, it's on offer a lot. So, you know, I can get like 2 or 3 and maybe just flesh it out. Yeah, that could be my New Year's resolution in a couple of months.
Yeah, there you go. I think it was 25 quid in Tesco recently.
25 quid?
Maybe 30. Might have been 30. But
Yeah,
it was cheap.
if you could. Yeah, it was. I think it was 30, and then if you're a club card member, which I mean, pretty much everyone is, or it's easy enough to join up, it was an extra 5 off. So yeah, it's. But then it gets back to what we were saying a bit earlier, because I looked at that and it's like, yeah, we could double up, and it's like, where am I going to put it? It's like I got the first one, like. But that's the other thing you can do, Chris. Is you go on. Have you ever seen Rebrickable? Yeah. So I mean, they've got a number of different flavors on there where people have already done it. So you can just start with that, and that's as Nicole was saying, that's a modification sort of thing, and that's it depends on what you want to do. Sometimes it's just a matter of you want to flesh out like the up house or whatever else, and why reinvent the wheel unless that's the challenge you want to give yourself. But then other times there's things, and I got a bit distracted during the week and it's on social media as well. And it's like, well, I just feel like building a little chop. So it's like,
that's cool.
It's amazing.
This is sort of like the prototype version, because I didn't have all the right colors and things. So just ordered a few other bits and pieces. But then I looked at it and went, actually, because I've done instructions up for it now, because I don't know, I'm paranoid that way. And going through and the whole thing, I can get it off Bricklink for about £10 plus a bit of postage. So, and I don't know, I kind of enjoy that sometimes, because then when you do that and then you struggle with it and then you go back to a normal set of instructions, it's like, oh, it's such a joy mindlessly following instructions.
Yeah,
it's nice.
But going back to MOCs, I've kind of found like this year, because I've been into Lego now since I'll say full time, let's say Lego, about 3 years now. And when you're building more sets, and you sort of feel like when you build something specifically, like a couple of things from the Gringotts set, I could see myself building what's in the set, but differently. You feel like, Joe, what? Maybe I can build that, but in a different way. You start to feel like you could do it. You could start to create your own sort of design.
And you can, mate. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, exactly. You can do that. Like I don't know. If you take like trees, for example, you could. I think I'd be confident to come to a decision on how I could make a tree. With certain parts, but yeah. I think I might give it a go.
Yeah. Just start small.
Yeah.
I think the way I got into it was how did I get into it? I modified. I built like a scene for the blacksmith set. So I just got like I think it was a 48 by 48 base plate, and built like a river and a little bridge, and put the bonsai tree on a mound of dirt, and it wasn't much, but it was a lot of fun, and it just properly opened the door from there.
That's something cool. What can spark imagination as well is habitats. On Instagram there are always habitat challenges, and it's a small bit. It's somewhere I have an habitat still in place. You have the basic settings of an habitat, And then you have the challenge of, at the moment, or soon there will be a Halloween habitat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't built.
That's-
I went to build habitats and ended up making slightly bigger. These ones, wherever they are.
Right.
Oh,
I don't know.
nice.
This was so
That's amazing.
this was just
Yeah.
I think we had this was during COVID. When you're doing London AFOLs, the monthly meetup remote, and one of them was habitats, and it was really just grabbing whatever pieces you had around, and I just thought, oh, well, I'll try like a little polar bear sort of thing. So
Yeah,
it's just
that's beautiful.
you do then start looking and going, how can I use those pieces and whatever else. So it's only a small amount of bricks, and so they can be quite cool to just have a bit of play around with.
And the sky is your limit. You can make a Harry Potter theme, combine it with Halloween, and do a crazy Halloween theme, and on just a Harry Potter one, New Year's, winter, spring, animals, Disney, Star Wars.
Yeah, all sorts, aren't there?
That's cool.
Yeah.
I suppose you could do like habitats, couldn't you? Harry Potter habitat, but one to represent each film.
One for each film, or just do one per character. Because whatever you sort of see. Because usually by the time you get a character in there, a few bits and pieces and a wall, you're kind of done. So.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all sorts of different ways of coming at it, and it's kind of funny because obviously been looking at trees and things recently, and you then really start picking apart different things because not picking apart, but it becomes front of mind. Even with one of the other ones that Ollie had on his Instagram ages ago, he was using these 4x4 Technic pin ones or whatever, and I looked at that one. Oh, that's a really cool idea, and sort of said that to him. And it's like, yeah, but the tree's really weak. So, and then I sort of looked at it and went, well, because you got the Technic pins there, you can put like a pin through the middle, an axle piece. But then, because that's what I've sort of done with this tree that I've built here. But then in the back of my mind, like it worked to a point, but then it started sort of, once the tree gets to a certain height, it actually starts falling apart, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So then, having recently done the Endor trees, and then also having done Ollie's one, started then using a whole bunch of different snot techniques and everything. And down the back of my giant tree, I've got like a massive spine, and even with that, then it started falling over. Immediately, I've built it one side because I know there's a wall going behind it, but then I've used a whole bunch of different snot techniques to lock it into the actual plate itself. So
it gets really complicated then, doesn't it? You start like interlocking like all sorts of bit, and it's just gets a bit crazy. I think I've built I've built a similar size tree to what you've got, and I just had loads of brick in the middle, and it was almost just built it up on the outside. But that was weak in itself. That was before the one with those round bricks you were showing. And I displayed it, and it fell apart on the way into the hall. It made the journey, and then hit a little bump. It was on a trolley, hit a little bump, and just like fell apart. Like I could put it together, but it was still like weak enough. Didn't take much to knock it apart.
Because that's tomorrow Matt's problem. He's kind of figure out how to like actually, because I made the spine of the tree so strong now, and I've locked it into the actual mills plate. I can't take it out.
All I did is I put it in a box and then just wedged stuff either side of the base plate. Because have you got mills plate for your base plate by any chance?
Yeah. So
you can wedge. Good. So you can like just wedge stuff, or I just wedged stuff like either side of the base plate, mill plate. So then it held the whole thing in place, and then just drove pretty carefully.
Yeah. The challenge I also have is there's 3 kids going to be in the car, plus my wife,
yeah.
plus me, plus the
Yeah.
dog.
Put one of your kids in charge of making sure it gets there safe.
Safely, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's and if it doesn't get there safely, you're disowned. Okay, that's one less kid to worry about now. And then also too the actual round tower itself, because that thing is as tall as a tree, and that was that's ridiculous. And even because I was at that for the better part of like a day and a half, and I then turn around to the guy who designed it, and it's like, just out of interest, how many parts are in here? It's like, oh, it's 4,500. It's like, no wonder why it took so long.
Yeah. Wow.
Like it's like for I remember 4,000, bit over 4,000 pieces. That was like the Ghostbusters house,
Yeah, okay.
sort of thing, or an assembly square. So it's a bit crazy that way.
Are you displaying? Did you say you're displaying with it with London AFOLs?
Yeah, AFOLs. Because this is like a collaborative build. So somebody had gone through and developed out the modular sections for like all the castles. So
So does it link into others?
Yeah. So we've all so that tower piece, which is the better part of 2 feet high or whatever, and 4,000 odd pieces. I think there's to get all together. There's about 20 of them, but I think only about a dozen might be turning up.
Wow. Okay.
Because I did it as part of project support, where you can go to as a lug.
Okay.
You can sort of go, look, we've got this idea for doing a collaborative build. They'll approve it or not approve it. They approved ours, and then you can order directly from them the parts and things. So
yeah, it's like lug bulk, isn't it? But not at lug bulk time.
Yeah. So I think we ended up ordering something like 300,000 pieces, and that's just the white bits. And then say, there's mills plates and these trees. This is just all me. So it's sort of like that's in addition to the rest of it.
Yeah.
300,000. Wow, that's that's a lot. That's awesome.
Because I think I think they sort of came up with about a year and a half ago, and part of it was just, what can we do where we can get white masonry bricks?
Right. So you've got loads of white masonry now as well.
Yeah. Must have several thousand of those now. So
what are you going to do with them after?
That's the thing. It's sort of like, because we're talking about potentially displaying at another show next year, but it's sort of like we've got the next year's one is again another sort of a project support, and we're actually doing like a moon base sort of thing, and that's all been designed out and everything. So that will be. It's sort of like, well, by the time we sort of get finished with this, it's like we're on to the next one anyhow. So
yeah, okay, that's really cool.
But what else we got? And TJ, lucky to travel far with Temple MOC for that. I was also lucky everything fit in the storage container. Yeah, that was. I don't know if you guys saw it. He did sort of.
I saw it.
Part of the Ninjago temple.
Oh yeah, that MOC was awesome. It's huge as well.
Yeah, it's too good.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. Because it's funny because we saw it like, I think it must have been like 6 months prior when you just sort of like just starting it, or only had like a little bit of it done, and so like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. And then when you saw it done, it's like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Pretty awesome actually. And then Midland, had to stop myself buying 2 to 3 sets 2 to 3 times today, online shopping, debut to my banking app. Yeah. So
yeah, it's
Temple of Fortitude from Ninjago season 3. Yeah, no, that was cool. All too kind. No, that's fine.
well deserved. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's. And so I mean, I order from Bricklink. Obviously, Brickaskew, you order from it. Nicole, do you order from Bricklink?
I only bought maybe a handful of times from Bricklink, and then only for my for my Sigfig. I have to confess that when I need bricks and pieces, I still go to Lego, to the online store.
That's fair. Yeah, it's satisfying buying from the source. I have to say.
It
They've
takes
got the coolest
forever,
parts
but
as well.
yeah, and you only have one. With the Bricklink store, it takes so many places to really get the things that I want, and then I have to wait, and I have to fill up, because you cannot just buy 3 pens, one piece from one. You can theoretically, just doesn't make sense. Paying €5 shipping for a 3 cents piece.
You end up just looking through, or I end up just looking through all of a seller's things. So it takes ages. Oh, I just need like 5 of these. And so, I just see what else they've got. Because like you say, I've got to get the postage up. And before you know it, like, right, okay. I've now got like, I don't know, it must be like 15 categories I always go through on any seller I'm looking at. Yeah.
Well, I've just created a couple of wish lists, because you can then, with the different things, because then you can go into their shop and you go into your wish list, and then you can just tick them off. And then if you've got any pieces off those wish lists, they'll just pop up.
Don't the wish list drive you crazy? I only have for my Sigfig wish list created, and I get emails all the time.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
That must be a setting, because I don't. I'm much the opposite. I'll go in there. It's like, after I bought something, it's like, oh, you got coupons from these 4 different stores. And it's like, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, those coupons are, I always forget to leave feedback.
I need to create a SIG. I need to create a SIG. Yeah, that could be my first mark. There you go.
There you go, yeah. It's a really cool...
choose wisely.
Yes, if you pick an expensive part and you want to make a few of them, because I think I made 10 recently, and it's like, I think my first ideas had a more expensive part, and I was like, no, I'm not going to spend like 20 quid just on that one part.
Right. Because you have to imagine paying it once. It could be make sense, like, oh, now I have a really cool Sigfig, and then you start meeting people, and they tell you, oh, you bring your Sigfig, I bring mine, and then we swap. And then you realize that your pens cost 20 pounds, and you think to yourself, I can better bring them my original Levis jeans. It would be cheaper than my Sigfigs.
Yeah. Because that was the thing. I've been thinking about doing a Sigfig for about 4 years, and then when I met up with Flab Blondie's Bricks, here in London, she gave me her one. And I just felt so bad that I didn't actually have one there. So actually this week gone through and created a Sigfig, ordered the parts. I was hoping against hope that they might be here today. Maybe I'll get them tomorrow. But it was the same sort of thing, because I wanted to get like an open collared sort of shirt, and most of them have got like vests with them, or like jumpers or something, which no.
Yeah.
And the only one which I could find was the Han Solo one from the 2006 Cloud City set. So like, I'm not paying £20 each time for that. So
there's a white one. There's Homer Simpson. I think I've got one of them for 20p or something.
Yeah, no, I looked at those ones, because then that was the next thing, because then it's sort of like, are you using yellow or flesh color? It's like, I'll stick to the yellow. So then the Simpsons one popped up.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And then it was much the same sort of thing. It's sort of like, if you want to do 20 of them, I think at the moment on Bricklink, there's only a handful of them for sale, and they're quite expensive each one. So it's.
Are they? I think I got one, but if I did it for my zombie mock, I made Shaun from Shaun of the Dead with red on him. I seem to remember only spending between 20 and 50p on it, I think. But who knows how much you spend on individual items when you bunch them in with all the other things you end up buying.
Yeah. I mean, it's because it's the sort of thing too where you sort of look at it much the same. It's like, I'm going to need to get these in multiple quantities. So yeah, if you go to that one seller, you might be able to find it for 20p or whatever. But usually, if you're looking for 10, 20, it's going to be at your £1, £5, or whatever it is. And then also sort of looking at it, sometimes it's a matter of also too when you go into the actual individual part, is it one which is still being produced or was produced recently? Because some of them you look at, it's like, oh, that's perfect. Yeah, it hasn't been made since 2010 and it was in one set. And you're just like,
Right.
that's getting expensive.
And then also, then there's a bit of like, okay, I've settled on it. I know what I'm going to get. And if it's not in production anymore, it's like, right, I've got to go buy all of them now before anyone else goes and buys them. Because if you want them in any quantity, then other people could ruin and scupper your plans.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting too. I saw on Brick Fanatics, they had apparently in the last couple of days, there's been a thing come out from Lego because like Lego with their business cards have their like sig figs or whatever. Apparently now that's going to be restricted to just the family and the executive leadership team. So they're not, if you're not one of those, they're not going to have them anymore. So.
What?
Yeah, no,
they're making record profits, aren't they?
Well, it didn't seem. I mean, it was on Brick Fanatics. If anyone wants to check it out, and they seem to be suggesting that because so many of them now are appearing at ridiculous prices on like secondary markets.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's sort of like, well, no, this isn't sort of what they're meant to be, but. So let's see here. KO, Nicole, can you switch the train on?
Theoretically, yes. Not quite.
Good answer.
And TJ, always check my wanted list first, and then usually a few minifig categories. Yeah, because even when I went to do, and that's kind of how I got a bit distracted. So like, I'll do the sig fig, finally create one, and then do the chopper. And even then, as I started going through the list and things like that, it's just like, I don't have the time for this. I just want to order. So,
I used to find it a bit of a therapeutic thing almost to just go through Bricklink, like putting together orders, but then not actually ordering them. I used to find I'd do it before bed and it would send me off to sleep quite nicely because it's just kind of mindless.
But
I don't know if it annoys sellers though, because I think they see when people are adding stuff in their baskets. So if they're like, oh wow, got a nice order coming through here, like, no mate, I'm sorry, I'm using your shop to fall asleep.
Well, I don't think it's that, because when we've had the kids Bricklink store, the first time you know something is when you obviously get an order through. But I think probably what it's doing, which you don't see, is if it's sitting in your basket, if somebody else is then doing a search at the same time, they're not going to see it. So as a seller, you don't know that's kind of on hold.
Oh, is that how it works? So if I put something in my box, I thought it was you had to buy it before it's.
I think it's when if it's in your cart, maybe.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore.
I don't know. I mean, that was going to be the sort of thing. So you're sitting there going, "Oh yeah, buy. I'll just leave it in my cart." It's sort of like the seller doesn't actually know, and it's probably getting blocked from their inventory.
Yeah, okay, I feel bad about that now. Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't intentionally do it. I'd usually put it all together and then be like, should I do this? And oftentimes, no, I shouldn't be spending £45 on parts when I'm just about to fall asleep. That's probably not the best time to be making a
Yeah. Because there's a number of parts, like particularly green wedges and things, which I like for landscaping, and you can never get those in like significant quantities. So I've always got a list of those. If any seller usually pops up, so long as they're reasonable price. Some people are just crazy, because you can see that some of the bigger stores, like you go in there and it's sort of like all the parts are just like really expensive for what they are. Like any other normal seller might have them for like £5 a part, but then you check it out, it's like, oh, they want 15. And it's like, all their parts are like that. It's like, okay, well, I know I'm generally not getting anything from this store because this is way too expensive.
Yeah, it's a bit mad how some people have that. I guess if they've got it in quantity, you can charge more.
DJ, I need to get some more Sigma parts together. KO, I still adding set to want lists, but never buy any because I'm getting new set. Okay. Lay McRick, the controls are close by. Theoretically, I can switch it on easily. And did you see the Animal Crossing reveal teaser? Just minifig. Yeah, that Fabuland 2.0 looked fantastic. I think somebody pulled it up. Nicole, what are your sort of thoughts? I know you were during COVID, I think, playing some Animal Crossing.
I really did it intensively. I had a 5-star island. I think I bought everything possible. And I even did the expansion pack, and I really loved it. But I did everything. I played it through. Now, when I went to it a couple of months ago, it's now boring because there is nothing to do for me anymore than walking around and taking care of my weed. I'm not the weed to smoke, so the weed on the island. Yeah, so that's really weird that now even me, who came really late to the game, that years even after I quit playing, Lego realized to have a set. But the minifigures, they look amazing.
Yeah, they do look good. And I think when it popped up and they facetiously said something in the group chat, it's like, it's almost like by the time a game's popular enough, unless it's like an evergreen one like a Mario or a Minecraft, it's almost like they catch it at the tail end, because it felt very much that's what happened with Overwatch.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, they had those sets come out, and it's kind of like, I think people were at the end of it, and then as somebody who never played Overwatch, you looked at a couple of sets and it's like, oh, that's cool, and sort of, oh, they're all retiring, oh, they're on discount, that's a good price for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only games that I've seen them do was the Horizon Forbidden West one, like the tall neck.
Yeah.
But I guess that was a sequel, so they kind of had the first one, already had the following, so there was time to get it planned.
Yeah.
I mean, that set had the best minifigure in.
Yeah, that set is amazing in general. Like,
Alloy?
Build that
I want to say Alloy.
Aloy, I think.
Aloy.
Yeah, it's pronounced. Yeah, in the game they say Aloy at least. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, Alloy. Aloy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
really good set. Really good figure.
Covered in printing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and got like really cool hairpiece and like got a little earpiece built into it, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
There you go. I keep nearly buying another one of those sets because they keep being like 60 quid down from 90.
Oh,
I do need to get that minifig from Brickleg.
Yeah, it's well worth it.
Just buy the set.
Yeah, it's a great set. It really is. Even if you don't know the game, like
it's a great
discount, isn't it? I've seen it on discount.
It's always on discount. 60 quid it seems to be as standard now.
It's 60, 55 sometime. It's about to retire.
Yeah.
And I think there's been some grainy leak photos of a second set next year coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love that accessory in the left hand. So good.
Yeah. It's got arm printing, it's got leg printing, the heads, the hairpiece. And the reason that I got it close to hand is, again, I was looking at the techniques that they used in building the base, because then I did that in like MOCs and things. Another one floating around. So And then shout out to Ashley. Good to see you in. Hope that you're going well. But yeah, it's like Fabuland. What? Yeah, it's for the old people. So, yeah.
I was really wondering because when I saw it first, I thought it's an Animal Crossing set, and then I read that it's an Animal Crossing theme. I thought,
Yeah.
Creating a theme.
I haven't seen this teaser. I haven't seen this teaser. So
I think it's just like, yeah, it shows some of the characters. I'm guessing I've not played the game.
Right.
Yeah.
I think gamers have been interested in it.
Somebody dropped it into our IG group there, just a quick little trailer thing. So, but again, it's the sort of thing like it's a Nintendo license, and I think even KO there is saying it. And I hate the Mario doll. It's like every other theme is getting minifigs other than Mario.
Yeah. Do you reckon you'll get the Animal Crossing, Nicole? Sorry.
Yeah, I get. When just based on the minifigs, they look amazing. It's unless it's really, really ridiculously expensive, and I hate the sets, which I doubt. But that would be the only reason not to get it. Because the minifigs really look as if they nailed it, and that's not easy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Even Ashley, yeah, the first time I saw the image today, I thought it was modern Fabuland. Just out of interest, as maybe I'm just showing my age here. And you guys had any of the Fabuland or know what it is?
I've seen it. I went to a convention where someone had like loads of it on display. I think it was like 2 or 3 tables with this massive park, like I guess adventure park or something, theme park with it. It's a bit of a weird set. You hear it like get talked about every now and then. But yeah, I never saw it.
Yeah, it was. I think probably there is somebody in the London AFOLs who's got a pretty comprehensive collection of it. It may have actually been that one. I think they display it.
Maybe, yeah.
It came out in like the early 1980s. So I think I had a couple of sets as a kid. It's like so the characters are sort of like animal type ones. So yeah, it is when you see the Animal Crossing, but it's almost like a halfway point between Duplo and System.
Yeah,
because it would have like big pieces, but they're still in the System format. But it felt kind of a little bit like Duplo. So. Out there, evening Echo Bricks. Hope that you're going well. That's there. Used to be a pro Nintendo gamer until stress and abuse messages got out of hands. So glad Lego is around. What is that? Just from like the online aspect of it, or?
I'm guessing so. Pro gaming sounds like a bit of a minefield. With online abuse and also just like injuries. Apparently, they can knacker your wrists out pretty young.
My sister used to be a bit of a pro gamer. She used to be what was it? She was ranked 6th at one point in the country for Gears of War.
Wow.
Yeah, she loved that game. Yeah, she was so good at it. But yeah.
Yeah, I worked with a guy who was European champion in Super Smash Brothers.
Super Smash Brothers. You remember that Super Smash Brothers Melee? I remember you used to that.
I think it was that one. Yeah.
Oh, I do love a game. I'm a big Bethesda fan, so I like Elder Scrolls, Fallout.
I've just got Starfield actually.
I need to get that I need to get it. Yeah, it would take about 400 hours to complete.
yeah, this is it. Yeah.
DLCs that add another extra 100 hours to your life, and but I Starfield's on my I need to
Yeah,
get
I haven't played it yet. I don't know why I bought it because I should have just waited for it to get not even get cheaper because I haven't set my Xbox up yet. It's in a box on there.
I'm just in the process of playing Skyrim at the moment, but I've had a go that I've actually been playing for the past 4 years. But because they add so much content in, and I don't fast travel on the game. And
oh really? Oh wow.
Yeah. I'm just so itching for when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. They released the trailer 3 years ago, and it's not meant to be.
You're going to be waiting another 5 years, surely. Yeah. They've got loads of mileage left in Elder Scrolls 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure they've been rinsing that one already for 10 years. Has it been out? I think it's 10 years this year. It's been out. It's been on like 5 different generations of consoles or something.
Yeah, they always make one game for the next generation of gaming, so they bring out like one game for the console, but then they keep remastering it. They add like DLCs, or they have Creation Club now, which fans
it's not like mods, is it?
No, you can get mods, but it's sort of like fans can get involved, and then Bethesda brings it out officially.
Oh right, yeah, okay.
And yeah, so. Yeah, just I love Skyrim. Just playing that.
Yeah, that game was phenomenal.
But I think it came out. They brought out Skyrim about 2 or 3 times. I think they had I think it came out in 2011, and then they brought a 5-year anniversary edition out, then a 10-year anniversary, and
and a 4K version or something. Best of.
Yeah, and they're just about to bring out. Well, they announced. Well, it was leaked. They're going to remaster Oblivion, which is my favorite game of all time, which is the 4th one.
Right. Yeah, I never played. Did I play Oblivion? Oh, maybe like a couple of hours. So
good.
Yeah,
some famous voices in that.
Really?
Patrick Stewart.
Is it?
Oh. Patrick Stewart. He was the Emperor. Sean Bean. He was the Emperor's son.
Oh.
Yeah. What else we got? Linda Carter, who was Wonder Woman in the 80s, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was getting mixed up with Sarah Connor there. Who's Sarah Connor, the actress? Sarah Connor.
Linda
Hamilton. Yeah. I thought he was talking about her for a second.
I don't know.
Patrick Stewart's memoirs were released today.
What was that, sorry?
And Patrick Stewart's memoirs were released.
Okay.
All right.
Is that going to be on your Christmas reading list, Nicole?
I used to like reading memoirs, but I haven't read books in general in a long time. I don't have the time anymore. It takes me forever to read a book, and I don't have the patience.
I read at night.
Audio books, Audible is fantastic.
Yeah, Audible is really good.
The only problem is I fall asleep to audiobooks.
Well, I suppose I usually do it in the car or on the train or something. So it comes
out and about. I used to do it when walking into work, which was like 40 minutes each way, so you can get to a book in a week or 2.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I do is, and it's taken a while, or I can usually listen to a lot of content on either 2.5 or 3 times speed, because you're.
Oh wow, that's quick! I can get 1.5 on the way. But...
Well, it's like any sort of muscle in that. Like your brain can actually understand up to 700-800 words a minute, but it's the sort of thing where because you never really do it, you never train up to it. So what I did was just each week I'd increase it by 25%. So it didn't go from single speed to 300% right away.
Fair enough. Yeah,
and
your
mind.
1.5 and 2 for listening to training stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah, if it's dense content, I can't do it. Like only about 2 times. Like dense economic type stuff. Yeah, you're not doing that at 3 times speed. But it's also because in the time that you can do it. Like listen to it normally, you can usually listen to it through twice, and for me at least, your recall becomes so much stronger. Because the first
So
time
you
you go
listen to
through,
each bit, right? Okay, yeah.
so you'd like listen to it the first time through, and then might come back a week later or 2 weeks later or whatever, and then listen to the whole thing again. And I also do it with podcasts, but then which is good for that too, particularly like for ads and things as well. The problem I then find is occasionally you then meet the podcast presenters and things, and because you've spent so long listening to it on double speed, you actually get frustrated because they're talking so slowly. Because they're talking normal. Like, this is not how.
Yeah, okay.
Come on, get to the point. Get to the point. Usually faster. So,
Yeah.
but the other thing too is once you get there as well, YouTube also has a double speed button. So particularly if you're looking at any educational content, because sometimes, you know, when you're looking at something which goes for like 10, 15 minutes and you only need a couple of key points, but you need to watch through the whole thing to actually get it. So you just put it on double speed and you get to what you need to quite quickly.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So what was...
KA, you might have met my person I worked with, my colleague at the Super Smash Brothers tournament. This was a good few years ago, I think.
Yeah. Because the youngest turned around the other day and it's like, can we watch the Terminator movies? I'm like, what? Where'd the interest in that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Fair. I mean, they're great films.
It's like, yeah, because I'd always been thinking, it's like, oh, when am I going to show them to them? Because, you know, I remember how old I was when I saw them. I was still a bit older than them. Because the second one is probably one of my favorite films of all time. And so I'm sort of like, yeah, sure. It's like, but where did you come across? And it's like, oh, it's a skin in Fortnite. It's like, that's it.
Interesting. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I sat down and watched the first couple and really enjoyed it. And at some stage, we watched like probably 3 and 4. That.
I was going to say, you're going to bother with the rest. Terminator.
Oh, Terminator. It's a bit for me. The only two that properly exist is 1 and 2.
Yeah, I do like the latest one. I do like Dark Fate.
Dark Fate,
yeah. But 1 and 2. I mean, 2 in particularly, even though I love 1, is one of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah, 2 is timeless.
Yeah. But also too, like, you know, in terms of, we've seen it. So when we talk about AI and the rise of AI and all that sort of stuff, Terminator is obviously the worst version of that, and just being able to have that as a reference point for them and understand it, I think is something worthwhile. But I quite like the 4th film. I know it's kind of, people might love it or hate it, but to get to the 4th film, unfortunately, you have to go through the 3rd film.
The 3rd film is it's all right. It's watchable.
It's kind of like a cheesy version of T2.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But what was it? I like the beginning of the previous one where John Connor gets shot at the start.
Yeah.
You know, he spends all of Terminator 2 protecting him, and then he just appears out of nowhere in the Bahamas, and then just goes boom, boom, and kills him. But no, the first 2, absolutely love the first 2. Yeah.
Oh.
I learned it.
Remember the scene? Speaking of artificial intelligence and stuff, can you remember the scene from Big Bang Theory when they invent the guiding system, and Sheldon says to Leonard, "No one from the future came back to me and tried to kill me, so I guess it's okay."
It's a good way to look at it.
I do remember that. So yeah, and that's the other odd one is love Big Bang Theory, and going through Young Sheldon, and even my little one has been watching just randomly by himself Young Sheldon. It's like, what? So it's kind of like,
Is it any good, Young Sheldon? I haven't finished Big Bang Theory yet. Actually, I haven't watched it in years now. But is it?
I really enjoy it. It's one of those sorts of things. Obviously, it goes through and it shows Sheldon as the younger version, sort of thing. But they've got a really good cast for it. And what I didn't realize is apparently the mother in Young Sheldon is the daughter of the mother in Big Theory.
What, like real life daughter? Nice.
Because it's that you might not remember. It's I think is it Laurie Metcalf is the one in Big Bang Theory, and she used to be like the sister on Roseanne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really name.
Right.
Yeah.
I like facts like this. It's like go back to Terminator 2. In Terminator 2, you know the bit where T-800, is sort of like he's about to kill Sarah Connor at the end. He extends his finger out into like I call it a knitting needle.
yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And then Linda Hamilton appears behind him.
Yeah.
That's actually Linda Hamilton's twin sister.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got identical twins.
Identical twins. Yeah.
That's handy, isn't it, for the film?
It's like in the scene, where she's fallen asleep and then she's dreaming about the apocalypse, and she just basically explodes when she's looking up. That's her sister as well.
Because obviously Linda Hamilton at that stage was quite, really muscular and well cut.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And today they just use computers, but back then you sort of had, the sister wasn't that way, so we'll just use her in. Let's say, there's a couple of scenes like that. I think she may have been even a double in the first one as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think she died. She died about a year ago. I think the sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think there was, or it might have been the year before. Because there was talk of her being in the recent Terminator, but I think because she became ill, and then she died. I think it was cancer that got her. And
I'm sorry about that.
Didn't know that one.
Oh.
But the other one like that is in Terminator 2 when they're in the guy's in the mental hospital and the guy's getting the coffee and he merges up out of the floor and they're twins as well.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, remember that one.
Yeah.
I love that scene. Like when he turns around and he's so shocked that when he sees somebody that looks exactly like him, because you'd just be freaked out, probably beyond that.
Yeah.
I love that scene where the doctor who's in the first one, realizes that what she's talking about is actually real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had experiences like this, and you can't believe it's real, and you imagine things, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then he comes out and the third one, legging it.
Yeah. And then you see him in the third one, and he gets he sees it all again and gets all triggered.
Oh yeah, he's in the third one, isn't he?
Yeah. And then also too, they had a TV series, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. And he was in that as well.
Was it? I never watched all of that because that had I forget her name, but she was in Firefly. Yeah, was it Summer?
Yeah. It was an interesting show. It was the issue that they had was it came out around the time of they had a Hollywood writers' strike back then.
Oh yeah, of course.
So that kind of messed everything up, and it's the sort of thing where obviously if you're doing it as a TV show, you kind of got to do not so much Freak of the Week, but you need something in that sort of vein. And KO heading out, be back in less than an hour.
Didn't they? Where are you going to go with that?
Good to have you. Might see you in a little bit. And TJ was saying bye to that as well. Or bye to KO too.
Here's a question for you then, because we talk about Terminator 2. A lot of people say that's like the greatest sequel. Well, a sequel that's better than the original. What can you think of where the sequel's better than the original?
Dark Knight and Batman
Dark
Begins.
Knight.
Yeah, Dark Knight.
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire is the other big one which always comes to mind.
The Last Jedi. No.
And that's the last time.
Don't hit a like and subscribe, please. Don't.
And if I can, let me try. Okay, yeah, he's back up there.
Yeah. Godfather 2. Godfather 2 was one. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, okay. I don't know if I've seen Godfather 2.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's one I watch every couple of years. It's not one I watch religiously, but yes, it's a decent film.
You probably need to go back and see that. I watched all three of them back to back, I think. And I'd never seen them before, and they're good films, but they're kind of all hanging together, so I probably do need to go back and watch them individually. What other sequels? I mean, depending upon how you want to look at the sequels, I mean, I prefer some of the later Fast and Furious movies. Some of the more recent ones are a bit dumb, but 5, 6, and 6 are quite like. Depends again how you want to put James Bond into it.
Some people are saying Top Gun 2.
Yeah, to be fair, I think I do prefer Top Gun 2. It's quite interesting watching Top Gun with my wife, who'd never seen it before and watched it. I think it was like a year or two ago, and she was like, "How was this popular? Like, it's horrendous." The levels of masculinity are. Yeah, and it's also just like it's not that great a film. Like if you watch it by today's standards.
But I think you must Top Gun, the first one. You would have seen it at a different time, like
exactly.
like Cocktail and all the Tom Cruise movies.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's classic Tom Cruise as well.
It's 80s, sort of thing. And I mean, that's it. I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. I actually went back and was watching part of Empire a couple of weeks ago, and it's like the first time I've seen that in must be 15, 20 years.
As in the film Empire, not Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, sorry, Empire Strikes Back.
Right, okay.
And even that now, even as a Star Wars fan, I'm starting to look at that and go, yeah, this kind of aged a bit now in my head. It's what it was when I was a kid. So now it's kind of like, actually,
yeah. So I like watching the original. I watched the original not long ago. I mean, the proper one where you see Palpatine being played by a woman, because Palpatine was played by a woman in the very first Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I knew they had to go back and refilm it once they obviously did Jedi.
It was it was her. It was a woman's face, but another man's voice. It wasn't. I think it's Ian McDiarmid. I think Palpatine, but yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay. And then Ashley mentioned Toy Story. Just trying to think. Yeah, no, that's. I think each one was of its time. I think the first one, which was sort of, I remember walking out of the cinema because up to that point, you'd only seen sort of like animation spliced together with live action.
Yeah.
Sort of like your classic. I mean, if you go back to like Mary Poppins and things like that, that sort of ilk. So you walk into that, and it's like the whole thing is like that. And when your expectation was, so you looked at it and you went, the humans looked weird, like, because obviously it was. And then it wasn't until later on, it's like, oh, okay, no, this is kind of like a new genre, like a new thing. So,
yeah, I forgot Toy Story was kind of groundbreaking, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just... And then for quite a while, I think, managed to see I think, first 5 or 6 years, pretty much every animated film that came out. But then they started having some just, obviously, became accessible to lots of different studios and things like that, and they just didn't do a good job on it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, what other sequels? Oh, the other interesting one. Who's your preferred James Bond?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of James Bond. I don't know. Timothy Dalton.
He's a classic. He's a good
Better
one.
than Sean Connery?
Sean Connery or Daniel Craig, I think, for me. Sean Connery is a classic. I used to like Roger Moore until I rewatched his stuff when it's older, and it's quite creepy. It's a bit,
The best thing about James Bond for me is that it influenced one of my favorite films or series of films, and that's Austin Powers. It's heavily influenced Powers.
Your look of shock there, Nicole.
That's Mike Myers, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Influenced, using that very, very loosely.
Can't wait for the new one. Can't wait for the 4th one, because it's going to happen.
Is this a thing?
Yeah, script's being developed. It's just they've had to rewrite a few things because Vern Troyer played Mini-Me died died a few years ago. So they're just sort of like restructuring the script. But we just had an idea about the best sequel. I'm a big fan of Addams Family, and I always thought the second one was the best one.
Fair. I don't know if that's because that's the first one was it? Yeah, I always preferred the second one though.
Yeah, I'm saying about Addams Family Values.
Did you watch Wednesday?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Big fan of that.
I
wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, I'll just jump in for a sec there because we've had somebody pop into the green room here because it's starting to come up to that time, and I think we've all kind of been hanging out for this a little bit. So welcome in, Amber Lyer. How are you going?
Oh, hi there.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I'm just realizing how dark my. Oh wait, sort of brightening up. I have no idea.
Brightening up now. So, we'll in a sec jump on to an Ahsoka recap of the last episode, which came out yesterday. So, going to be heavy spoilers. So, if you are not seeing Ahsoka and don't want to get spoilers or whatever, now's a bit of a warning. So, we'll get onto that in a few minutes. Just waiting for somebody else to pop in so we can get kicked off with that. And then Ashley there, Austin Powers was designed to kill gadget bomb problem, and it worked really well, as Daniel Craig was the response to it all.
I thought Daniel Craig Bond was the response to the Bourne Identity. The Bourne films getting
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I can see that parallel there.
Yeah, Daniel Craig really had a good run, didn't he? After the very bumpy start.
Yeah, and after Quantum of Solace, that was talking of the writer strike earlier. That was
a big role,
victim of that, wasn't it?
It's a big role to fulfill. Massive role to fulfill. You know, it's I don't know who the next Bond's going to be, but it's going to be an uphill task to.
I always wanted Clive Owen. I don't think he will, but Clive Owen.
I had hoped that Idris Elba would take
Idris Elba.
That wasn't there, that rumour.
Yeah. Could be. Yeah. Idris Elba's a good shout.
And with that, sorry, just to cut in again, we've had our other panelists for the Ahsoka recap also jump in, who's been quite active in the chat and always good to have in. Welcome along, Titanium J. How are you going?
Hi, everybody. Very good.
Good to have you in. Hope that you're going well. Have you just been obviously just chatting away to us? Have you been building something or working on something?
No, just hanging out.
Ah, cool. Excellent. All right, then. Well, I think now that we're all here, we'll sort of get into this. So, again, spoilers. If you don't want spoilers on that, now would be the time to exit stage left. Do the good things, share, like, subscribe, social media, everything like that. And maybe catch it up a little bit later on once you've come across it. So we'll start off with a quick little recap here and a few little things. Made some notes. So this is Ahsoka summary. This is episode 8, The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord, which is always interesting. The Chronicles of Narnia sort of title the line with the Witch and Wardrobe.
I thought of the jokes. And isn't it always that jokes start with a witch, a Jedi, and come into a bar?
3 things. Englishman, Irishman, Scotsman, something like that. So, anyhow, we open up and we've got Thrawn orders the Eye of Sion out of orbit to attach to the Star Destroyer, send 2 TIE fighters out to the Jedi as he's fallen victim to the heroics of single Jedi previously. The grandmothers make Morgan Elsbeth into Mother Talzin, maybe, and then through the Gift of Shadows and give her the Blade of Talzin. We then cut to Ahsoka and the shuttle and what we call the Teenage Mutant Ninja Rock vehicles. They're all sort of going along. Ezra constructs the lightsaber. Huyang surprises Ezra saying he knew Kanan and looks like trying to find a Lego piece in there where he's looking for all the bits and pieces around there. And he then finds out that Ahsoka was afraid of training Sabine, potentially because the revenge for the Siege of Mandalore and becoming quite dangerous. And then there's a moment between Sabine and Ahsoka on the ship wing, and she knows that she gave the map willingly, and they talk about difficult choices and mention Anakin's always supporting her choices, and she was going to do the same. You then have the TIE fighters attack. Ahsoka and Ezra hold up the ship to stop the Noddy being crushed. The shuttle then has a short burst and takes out the 2 TIE fighters and then crashes. Thrawn realizes the Jedi can't really stop them and now prepares for a ground assault. The Jedi then sort of ride on the Howlers and attack through the front door. They rain hellfire down from the Star Destroyer and they force the door open, and Sabine even chips in with that effort. Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine attack the Night Troopers and win. Then we have a Walking Dead moment happens with the grandmothers and cue zombies entering Star Wars. Even the Jedi find this as a new trick, with the Night Troopers arising. They have to seal the doors to slow the zombie troopers down. The Star Destroyer is then attaching to the Eye of Sion, and Thrawn asks Morgan and Elsbeth for a little more time while everyone else leaves, basically telling her that she's staying behind. Ahsoka and Morgan fight. Ezra and Sabine fight against a couple of the Beskar zombie Night Troopers. Sabine force pulls her lightsaber finally, and then from there, nothing that a lightsaber to the side of the head didn't fix against the zombie Night Trooper. Sabine then force throws Ezra onto the Star Destroyer. There's a bit of a misdirect there, and Ezra is onto like a ledge below it. Ahsoka then has a lightsaber cut up. Sabine then surprises and helps Ahsoka, taking out the last zombie Night Troopers. And Ahsoka has a really good swipe at Morgan and kills her good. None of these little lightsabers popping through and people then living afterwards. Thrawn targets and destroys the fortress. Ahsoka and Sabine have to jump off the edge and have a Back to the Future 2 moment, landing on the T6 shuttle, which is then revealed to be hovering upwards. Thrawn is gloating over the comms to Ahsoka. Knowing her master was Anakin, she would have had similar strategies that Thrawn predicted and countered effectively, so gold star for him. Thrawn wonders how similar she may become to her master, almost taking a little jab at her, and suggests the place where she is now is good for a Roman like her. Then hyper jumps out of the galaxy, and then we sort of go into Q Lord of the Rings type with 37 different endings. We return to our favorite little Naughty, and we see an owl fly away symbolically. Then, given we're sort of running out of time, we then cut to one loose thread with Shin holding a red lightsaber aloft at the bandit camp. Apparently she's still in the show. Also reminds me we haven't seen Balin in this episode, so we cut to him seeing the most important loose thread now, Balin standing on the outstretched arm of a giant statue, almost looking over Middle-earth. You two can be disappointing that nothing more of this character for this season. We then have Thrawn and the grandmothers approach Dathomir with their coffin cargo. We also haven't seen we haven't seen Hera this episode, so we cut to her. Ezra has a bit of a death wish, so he walks out of the ship in full night trooper gear. Chopper needs to do something and convinces Ezra to take off his helmet. So then you have like a strange homecoming with that. And then we're over to the Naughty Village with Ahsoka and Sabine. Ahsoka has some fortune cooking wisdom, sort of saying Ezra's where he needs to be, and so are Sabine and Ahsoka. Sabine senses something, nothing but shadows in the starlight, and then fade to Force Ghost Anakin. So that's where we got to with this one. Quite a bit sort of happening there. So I think the usual sort of thing will go just around and take sort of a first impression of the episode. If we start with One Brick Stud, what we sort of your impressions?
Well, two things disappointed me heavily. One, the series over. I was enjoying it so much, and it is, we spoke about just enjoying the ride, enjoying what we were experiencing over the past few weeks, and it is a shame that it's come to an end. But the other thing that disappointed me that we didn't see a little bit more of Balin Skull. We clocked him at the end. It would have been great just to see a little bit more of him. But for what we saw in episode 8, great episode. The pace was fantastic. I thought the choreography of the fight between Ahsoka and Morgan was was brilliant. I liked the ending. It wasn't like a full-blown cliffhanger. You sort of saw the characters, separate. You got to sort of see where they were going. You had Thrawn going to Dathomir. You've got Balin Skull going to what is looking like the Mortis gods by the looks of it. It was just it was fantastic. I would have liked to have seen some sort of unexpected twist along the way. What that twist looks like, I don't know. It was great. The only thing I really disliked is that force jump that Ezra did. I just thought that was a bit silly. That's the only thing I disliked about it. But then again, it probably was a bit meaningful because obviously Hugh Yang was talking about how when they're together they're stronger. So I guess that's a reflection of what he said about sort of like Sabine helping Ezra get to that ship. But all in all, it's fantastic, and it's I'm just buzzing to see what happens next, whether it goes straight into a second season or whether it goes into the trilogy of films and so on. But I think the series is it's been something special. It really has, and brilliant. And we got to see Hayden Christensen at the end again, which is I'm in love with the man. He's brilliant.
One last time, yeah. And was that Brickapix who sort of picked that last week or suggested it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, I like the fact that this series now is just kept us thinking about what was going to happen. And I love being in that position where we start to theorize, we start to think, oh, it could go here, it could go there, this character could die, this could happen. And the thing is, the amount of stuff that I've predicted over the past few weeks, the good thing about me making predictions is that I'll be wrong. So when I predict something, it never happens. So like if I look at this stream from like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think, oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen. No, it's not. But
everyone was doing that. Everyone was doing that.
The whole storyline has just been great. It really has, and probably the best episode out of them all. It really was. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, that's lots there, and yeah, certainly there's a few little things which, like when Ezra sort of jumping and Sabine, that sort of thing. It did, pardon the pun, feel a bit forced and things, but we can come back to those sorts of aspects a bit later on. Lady McBrick, what was your general impressions of sort of the episode?
We definitely have to go back to the space jump from Ezra, because that really puzzled me. because I believe, at least I am aware of, was the very first time that I saw that Sabine had force power, and I thought that is a brave thing to jump into nothing, hoping that someone who never uses the force again before can push me over the cliff. That's one way to find out whether
Trust in the force.
Yeah, that's what Ahsoka said just before, right?
Okay, yeah, no, it's very much so. Like, and considering 5 minutes earlier, you'd just seen her doing her Luke Skywalker, I can just barely move my lightsaber to grab it, a la the Wampa Cave, and then all of a sudden, she's force pushing him, a massive object over much further space with much more force. Okay,
yeah, right.
But
well,
once
so
you get
something to keep in mind, I do want to just point out on that very specific thing is that, number one, that is a callback to Rebels, because Kanan and Ezra do that. And Ezra uses the force to jump. Sabine just has to push him the rest of the way. So she didn't do all that, and she also didn't quite make it, right? He kind of just barely did. So I do want to point that out, is that she didn't do the whole thing. It was, she was probably adrenaline pumping. She'd done it before and was like, yeah, and then got him a little bit. But,
Okay, I like your interpretation of that. I can live with that. So,
me too.
but
in general,
go.
No, but in general, I'm really pleased with the whole first season that we got. I think I got my twist, because I had feared that Ahsoka, Sabine, everyone goes with Thrawn back home. I like the twist that Sabine, Ahsoka doing their own thing with Balin. My dream would have been, if Balin was still alive, or the actor, that they will go one way and take that story, and then Thrawn will be taken maybe in a movie, in a different storyline. That would be a dream come true. The only thing that really frustrated me, just looking at this episode that we watched, is the fact that right from the beginning, the episode starts, the first thing Thrawn says, okay, ready to go, everything uploaded, off we go. And then I don't know how long the episode was, it is as if he was dragging his feet. And I kept on thinking, no, go, it's a massive ship, then doggone, go, and nothing happens. And Ahsoka makes the next move. And there's no progress of, there is some urgency, let's get going. That was really a frustrating aspect for me for the episode. Like, he says he knows the urgency, he says others made the mistakes to underestimate, and he says right from the beginning, we are ready to go, there is no reason to hold back anymore. And nothing is done, as if he was waiting off his cue, like, okay, they are not close enough. Producers say, it's not my cue yet, we can't go. What are you waiting for? That was really frustrating for me.
Yeah,
to see.
I mean, just jokingly, it's like, if you got a family and you try to go somewhere, you can be ready to go, but you're not ready to go. Like, so maybe it's something similar.
Yeah.
No, it's. Yeah, we can have those sorts of issues with that stuff. So, okay, brilliant. TJ, your sort of overall thoughts for the episode?
Overall, I really enjoyed the episode. Like, it's weird because initially I didn't, but then I kind of had to shift my expectations because I was expecting certain things to happen and they didn't. But once I kind of got past those expectations, I looked at it overall. I watched it a second time. I really enjoyed it. Loved seeing the zombie stormtroopers. Those were great. And the ending was really good as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite the happy ending that I pictured, but it was a happy-ish ending and setting the stage for a lot more things to happen.
To come.
Yeah.
Okay, then. All right, brilliant. No, that's certainly going through a second time and watching it. Yeah, you get different things and different takes on it. So And below, what was your sort of overall thoughts for the episode?
Absolutely, 100% loved it. I loved it. Dave Filoni did a terrific job. He set up his movie, which is Thrawn, Hera, Ezra, all of them fighting. That's going to be his movie. And then he opened up this entire brand new galaxy for Ahsoka. Ahsoka is like he was able to create that separation where the Ahsoka show is now going to be like, we've got Shin, we've got whatever Balin's up to, we've got this galaxy like far away, right? A whole nother one to explore and have things, have whatever's going to happen here. I will say I was against Balin being recast, but now he has to be. I think I have to accept that.
Yeah.
Like you can't, his care, obviously they had more for his character and his story and his journey. And as long as they please don't like bring him back to life digitally, like just recast him, it'll be fine. Looking forward to that. I am on Dave Filoni's train. I'm on this ride. I'm here for it. I can't wait.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting. I started to see Tech had actually started a stream yesterday, and he started off and he was saying something about a Thrawn movie and things like that. And at that stage, I'm like, eject. I just don't want to think about this at this stage. So I think we'll come back to the expanded universe as such. The general sort of thing was sort of said for this episode. We'll focus a bit more on the actual episode 8, and then next week we'll have a little bit of a week's breather, and then sort of talk about the series as a whole. But I think there might be a bit of bleeding between that. So, but that's fine because I think there's enough to go into next week anyhow. So, Brick Askew, what was your overall thoughts for the episode?
Yeah, loved it. It was masterful. Just couldn't have ended it better for me. I would have loved to have seen more about like Balin and Shin and everything, but I think it was the right move to not include all of that. Like save it for another series. Obviously, it's a shame with Ray Stevenson, but yeah, like Ambula says, he's going to have to be recast. But yeah, all of it, just loved it. Like the whole relationship between Ezra and Sabine. I know it's a little bit of a. I'm going to make a pun. It's a bit of a push having it like her force go that far, but also she was in like in the moment it's a big like I don't know, it's kind of like fight or flight kind of situation. And the little bits of jokes as well, with Ezra not quite getting there, or like when he stabs the zombie through the chest and like lets off this little like hopeful smile as if like that's going to have done something. Absolutely masterful. And Ezra building his lightsaber, Hayden Christensen at the end, like they're proper like pulling at the heartstrings quite heavily. And also, I only just thought of it, Hayden Christensen or Anakin, his Force Ghost is in a different galaxy, right? Yeah. So what's that about? How does that work?
Can't a ghost go anywhere?
I guess so. Is
it in the memory? Is it in the memory of the people who see them?
So
I don't know. Anyway, I hadn't thought about it.
I thought that once you are a ghost, you are free to go wherever you.
That makes sense. General ghost law.
One thing I also would say is maybe with the hint of the Mortis gods, this could be a planet or area that is very strong with the Force.
Yes, that's very true. So, I loved the Mortis gods. It was only on the second watch. I kind of assumed that he was stood on the father's hand. Yeah. But it was only on the second time round that I actually paused it, and it's got the statue of the sun next to him, right? Who looks like Anakin as well.
Yes, and the daughter is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Is there a link between the daughter and is there a link between the daughter and the owl that we keep seeing?
Yeah, because there's daughter.
Well, her and Ahsoka too.
Yeah.
Because wasn't the owl also in Mandalorian as well, like series 2? I think I saw that as well. I saw it today. But
what was that,
the owl that appeared at the end. I think it's an owl or a bird.
That bird. What was that all about?
That's to do with
That's-
the daughter, like one of the Mortis gods,
Yeah.
whose
Yeah.
soul is it? Her soul is in Ahsoka.
But
Or
I
is
think she gave up her like life force or what have you, I think, to bring Ahsoka back. Ahsoka died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that why the statue's broken of the daughter?
Well,
Yeah.
all of the Mortis gods died. But maybe there's some sort of like balance thing in there.
But yeah, that like I love how they've left that story and opened that story up, and yeah, I can't wait for the next series. It's going to be another series, isn't it? It's got to be how they've left it.
Yeah, you'd have to think so. So I think much the same as everybody here. Really enjoy the episode. The kids loved it as well, and that's always nice when watching it with them and seeing what they're reacting to. And I mean, we touched upon a few little things where sometimes you go, oh, okay, is that just taking me out a little bit? But we'll just move on, sort of thing. So yeah, lots of setup, and it feels very much like some of the other series that we've had, like whether it's Mandalorian or something like that, where it's the first part to do other things outside of it. And I guess now we'll start off with one of the obvious ones. We've now got zombies being in Star Wars effectively, which we've always had. Darth Vader is kind of a repackaged samurai knight to samurai, Japanese sort of thing. So it's always been happening. What do we think of, effectively zombies being in Star Wars now?
Well, so something to keep in mind, it's not the first time that the Night Sisters have done this, right? Because we actually have this with the Night Brothers and stuff in the game. Yeah. So
and
it's this is something that they can do.
Yeah. In Clone Wars as well, there was the Zombie Night Sisters. Yeah.
Were they ghost Night Sisters? Were they actually zombie?
Well, there were also Night Sister spirits, I think. Those weren't.
Yeah, I saw the spirits. Yeah.
But even so, like the idea of like life after death and like resurrection is already a theme, isn't it?
So we
They were like proper zombies though in the show. I felt they were more zombified than I was expecting them to be.
Yeah.
And then they're like that in the game as well. But yeah, one thing I did was wondering, like, is he going to bite Sabine? Is she going to turn into a zombie? Sorry, Chris, I know.
I was to say that means that we can't rule out Morgan ever coming back then. Could always happen.
Yeah.
Tis but a scratch.
That fight scene was amazing, though. Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, the choreography. It was funny that was it last week recently we were talking about how there's no choreography anymore, and then that was like proper choreographed. And
one of the things I didn't realize who the actress playing Morgan Elsbeth was. Like, I didn't realize that she's like been a stunt woman most of her life. She was like in Blade and like all this other stuff, and I guess she's the goddaughter of Bruce Lee, or she was, and like her dad had trained with Bruce Lee. So because I'm watching it and I'm like, she's an older lady. I'm like, she's either they did some really good editing, or she's she was able to do some moves. And then I read that and I was like, oh wait, that makes sense.
Because she can fight, can't she?
Yeah.
Did everybody like her appearance? How she looked when she changed?
Oh yeah.
Did she sort of formally? Because from what I can remember, Mother Talzin in previous series was killed off. Did she effectively become Mother Talzin, or is it just something coincidental?
Oh, you mean the Talzin blade?
Well, you had the Talzin blade, but when she did that transformation, was then she assuming the role of Mother Talzin?
Mother Talzin was in Clone Wars, wasn't she? So I think she's like been and gone, right? So I think she was just kind of inheriting her blade.
Yeah. And that the whole like I guess initiation thing that they did, all the different quotes that each of the great mothers used, that was a callback to Clone Wars as well, when Asajj Ventress became a Night Sister.
Okay. Because what it seemed like she was becoming a great mother. because she like her face was changing because you could see like the similarities between like the darker patches and the paler bits, like similar to the others. So it seemed like, yeah, I wasn't sure if she was getting to their level or like maybe going similar level. But yeah.
Yeah, certainly leveling up in the ranking systems is
yeah.
is a insight. And so, do you think? I mean, if you compare the 1-to-1 between Morgan and Ahsoka compared to their encounter in Mandalorian season 2, do you reckon Morgan was a significant upgrade to the Morgan that we saw in Mandalorian? So I kind of felt that she changed, but she didn't. She was no more powerful compared to when she was in season 2. If anything, I thought that she gave her more of a battle in Mandalorian.
Has Ahsoka upgraded as well though? She's
possibly
gone up a level, right?
Yeah. Certainly after that World Between Worlds with Anakin, you'd have to sort of think, combination of letting go to whatever feeling she had and then sort of, developing there. But getting back to the Mando season 2, because I was thinking about that earlier and just haven't watched it enough recently. Because when you get away from something, you kind of only remember the summary version of it rather than the details. But that was always the thing when she first came into the series. It's like, well, she got either captured or whatever and was in jail and then got broken out. So it's not like she was this all omnipowerful being sort of thing.
She didn't seem to have that much like power as a witch either, like because all we really saw her doing in Ahsoka up until this point at least was getting the map going. Like she wasn't like doing massive great feats with it or anything like that.
Well, I think getting the map, and then if she managed to hear the grandmother's call across different galaxies, you have to be kind of attuned to that. To sort of...
And we do. I mean, somebody did Merrick, right? Somebody brought Merrick back to life.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's a shame why we didn't get to see what was in those what I call them coffins, futuristic coffins, the catacombs. It's a shame we couldn't just see what was in one of them.
Yeah.
That's so you'll watch the movie.
Yeah.
So what is just with that? Is there a plan in terms of when that movie's coming out, or is it just sort of all in the mix and something like that's been officially told to us? Or
so okay. So when I keep saying that's the movie, just so you know, I have no insider knowledge or anything whatsoever. I say that because it feels like that's what the setup is. It doesn't mean that Mandalorian season 4 wouldn't have like a little bit of that too and some tie-in. I think it just feels like from what I've seen of what Dave Filoni has done is that Thrawn and, that Thrawn coming back for like a second try at this feels movie worthy, right? It really does. Because there's no show announced for Thrawn. There's simply another season, I think, of Mandalorian and, a movie that's supposed to, but I don't think it's been written yet, to be honest.
Yeah. It's years away.
Yeah, it's years away.
There's, as far as I know, I think there's only possibly a movie in 2025 maybe, but I think even with the writer's strike that's been delayed, so it's still like always. But I think part of the thing with when I was having a bit of a squiz at Tech Stream, was it yesterday or whatever, he's talking about some of the kind of concepts or things that they're had mentioned at the last Star Wars celebration, so I wasn't too sure if there's something coming out of that, but because it seems to be that there's suggestion that there's going to be a Filoniverse basically, and this is all going to culminate in a movie or something. Maybe just all rumors at this stage, but there's certainly within this episode got enough threads that they can go in lots of different directions. So, I guess with that too is going over to Shin for a second. Has Shin's story been a little pointless? It almost seems like she had been built up by Balin to have this glorious purpose, and then she's been abandoned, and she ends up with a bunch of bandits. Effectively, it's sort of like, what's the sort of
underestimate the
sense on
bandits. I think her story's good. She's gone off on her own path now, and yeah, she's going to be queen of the bandits. I think that's quite a strong character trait. She's she hardly knows. They hardly know who she is, and she's already going to go off and command them. Yeah, I think her story's an interesting one, or could be at least. It didn't go the way I was expecting. I was expecting more of like the Shin and Sabine connection, but that could be developed further in the next season.
With that. Okay. Just a couple of text comments. Look at the other sisters like Mervyn or Ventress. They even have similar face markings and pale skin. Okay. And I see it as Morgan being inducted into the Night Sisters fully, as there's no other grandmother in her galaxy to have someone formally practiced. Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say very poorly with that.
But now there's no Night Sister left in that galaxy, unless Morgan does come back.
Well,
is she going to be zombified?
Technically,
What's
there's
that?
one more possibly floating around. We don't know where she is.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, there is in canon technically another Night Sister floating around doing something. Who knows what?
Yeah. Okay.
Who's
that?
that?
Merrin.
Mm-hmm.
Merrin from the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless she's died, which who knows?
Yeah.
But
yeah, they're gonna leave Merrin's character alone because she's in the games and they're doing.
yeah, she needs. They need to do one more game before they can bring her into the live action.
The film,
It would be good if they bring the games into live action. I'd love to see Cal Kestis.
Oh yeah,
because he's I'm guessing all the characters look the same as the actors, the voice actors. It's my assumption. I haven't actually looked at the cast other than Cal Kestis, but yeah. There would be an interesting crossover.
And then at one stage you had Thrawn sort of, when he's talking to Ahsoka there, sort of saying maybe she's better off in this galaxy as a Ronin. What did people make of that sort of comment or foreshadowing?
I had to look that up just so you know. I didn't know what the heck a Ronin was.
I like that they called her a Ronin, and I called that she because of the whole samurai thing. I was like, yeah, she's a Ronin. Like when in episode 3 or something. But are there samurai in the Star Wars universe then? Like, because Ronin is a samurai, it's a disgraced or it's a masterless samurai.
Masterless samurai, which it makes sense when you sort of look at it in obviously in the context of Clone Wars in terms of she walking away from the Jedi Order and everything like that. Okay, yes, and then the relationship with Anakin, but technically when she walked away, she's then developed all these abilities and kept on going, but it's not like she really has a master other than those Anakin recordings. So and then the fact then Thrawn has really picked up on that, and
he's playing with her there, though, I think, isn't he? Because I think Ronin's meant to have like an element of shame to it as well, traditionally. So I wonder if he's playing to that, and obviously he's playing mind games with getting her thinking about is she gonna go down, give into the dark side like her master.
Yeah, that was a very interesting comment. I think it's a combination of what you said in terms of it's playing with her. It seemed to be the sort of thing he knew that he was going to basically get away, and he could almost have a bit of a go at her as a parting gift sort of thing. But then, also too, if he is thinking about it, he's never particularly met her before, and she knows that she had the same tactics as Anakin, so she might have the same thought process, so she might have the same, not so much weaknesses or inclinations to potentially end up as a Darth Vader sort of character. Do we think that we'd ever see that, or is that just, would that completely kill Ahsoka as a character?
So I think one of the things they made very clear here, maybe to me, and this is a belief that I hold. I hold the belief that had Ahsoka not left Anakin, he may not have turned. I really do. That may not be true, but I do kind of feel that. So I feel like there's a very clear difference. We do have Ahsoka, who is maybe a lot like her master, but she has an apprentice. She has somebody that she's training, someone to kind of keep her grounded and stuff like that. So I like to think of it that way, where yes, they may be very much alike, but you know, she's got that set up.
And then you've got the Mortis gods playing into it as well, where she's the daughter who's like the light side.
Exactly.
And also I really liked going back to Balin and Mortis gods, like the connection between Balin and so when Balin's in the first episode, the whole bit where it's very much like Vader in Rogue One, that connection between those two now seems a bit stronger because there's a Mortis god connection, because Anakin was meant to take on the life force of the sun. So there, yeah, in my head, there's like, okay, yeah, there's a connection between them, not just in terms of like that, or like that whole bit made more sense to me.
Yeah.
Don't know if that makes sense, Matt. I can see.
Yeah, no, unless I'm thinking something different. I thought Anakin in Clone Wars, he was meant to take on the position of the father, not the son.
Oh, was it the father?
Yeah.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah, because that was part of it.
well,
'Cause
even
the
more
father was dying, I believe.
Yeah, and he needed
was
to.
the son trying to take it?
Well, the son was sort of like the dark side, and the sister was the light side, and you needed the father to sort of balance them, and he wanted Anakin to do that.
Yes,
Yeah. Wasn't he? I need to go back on Clone Wars. Wasn't he like dying or something, and that was why he wanted Anakin to do it?
So then the connection between Anakin and Balin's even stronger. Balin's next in line to take on the father's life force.
But would he? Yeah. Oh, it's interesting because Balin was, a couple episodes back, he wanted to, end this cycle of, rising Jedi, falling Sith, and whatever else. If he was to take on the actual role of trying to keep the light and the dark in check, that would almost be like the opposite of what his ambition is.
Yeah, true.
But just going back to your other point in terms of, Ahsoka, Amber Lion's point, Ahsoka being the reason Anakin possibly turned to the dark side or whatever there, even if that was, I think my reading of that last lesson that they did in the World Between Worlds sort of thing was that Anakin sort of said, no, that's, this was all me sort of thing. It's got nothing to do with you. You need to move on sort of thing. Or if I just misinterpreted that.
Oh, no, I fully agree that, like, he has to take responsibility for that. Like, it can't be on her for it. He does still, like, I fully support that. Yes, that's true. She should not be holding on to anything. This is still on him, like 100%. But I do personally believe that it may have been less likely.
Yeah. I mean, but because that was always the episode in the Clone Wars of that sequence where, again, I know it's animation, things move quite quickly, but they seem to turn on her like as the Jedi Order and wanting to get rid of her, like on the drop of a dime sort of thing, which I never particularly liked that sort of aspect. So it's almost sort of like, well, the Jedi as an order, basically we're looking to get rid of her. and Anakin was the only one at that time who sort of went, no, this isn't right, sort of thing. So I mean, when you put it putting it in the bigger context of what she was up against at the time, it's sort of like, is there any surprises that she left? Given,
Oh
Yeah, she was fully pushed out the door, wasn't she?
Oh yeah, no, and like, no, you don't go back.
Yeah,
you don't go back after that.
Yeah, she's
You
got
don't go back.
a sense of self-worth, hasn't she?
Yeah,
and
they
then
were
also
so-
too,
yeah.
I like in this when you had the younger version of Ahsoka in live action, you could see her more readily questioning a lot of these things. Yes, you did get a bit of it in Clone Wars, but it was more, her arrogance at that time because she thought she was much better than what she was, leading to other people dying, as opposed to this one going, well, you guys were started off as peacekeepers, and now you're soldiers and warriors. But let's see. Text there. I've always thought.
I fully believe the Jedi Order were they created their own demise. I mean, Palpatine helped, but the way they ran the Order, it was
Particularly if you have a look at the what was that animated one recently? Was it Tales of the Jedi? And you start seeing, Mace Windu and a couple of the other characters. You're sort of like, yeah, these are very unsympathetic characters by this point. And you made your own bed to sort of sleep in with all the problems here. And you almost get to the point now where it's sort of like you start to see the Jedi as being evil, and it's almost like you're sort of seeing the way that
I was just about to ask, like, do you think people are a bit like sick of the Jedi Order? Are they getting a bit of they're going to get cancelled? Because we're moving away in this show. Ahsoka's opening the door up to other stuff. Are people tired of Jedi Order, starting to see them in a less positive light?
Is it, anyone sort of got any thoughts on that?
I think even Balin said he liked the idea of the Jedi Order. The execution of it was not great, and led to corruption and to arrogance in some ways, where they really thought a little too highly of themselves and were blinded by things. But I do think, and I don't know, maybe this will come out in the Rey movie if they do the rebuilding. I think that they're at its core, there are some really great lessons and great things to build from there, but that it can't exist in the form it did before. It really does, need to, I don't know, be modernized, be, more realistic, about like people and things. And, maybe this idea, I mean, one of the things that I felt happened in Clone Wars is they were so closed off to even possibly like touch, not that I'm saying the dark side's good, but touching a little bit of like the dark side. They couldn't even tell that freaking Palpatine, a Sith, was right in front of their faces. Yeah. So, they had closed themselves off so much. And I think there's a place to learn about balance. Everything exists, dark and light, and so I think there's things you can take away, and you could build something a little bit more, maybe not so rigid.
Yeah, and like the Sith, the Sith, thousands of years ago, there's a whole lot of them. They'd all try and fight the Jedi in numbers, but after every so often the Sith changed. They evolved, and the Jedi didn't, and that's part of what led to their downfall.
Yeah, they're really rigid. Like, because I'm reading, I know we've gone completely off topic from Ahsoka, but I'm reading one of the Star Wars books about like the High Republic, and everything is the same as it is in the films, like the Jedi, and that's hundreds of years before any of the like the movies or shows. They just don't change over all that time.
Yeah, it seemed to be, as we're getting into the expanded universe or legacy or whatever they want to call it, that the Jedi were one flavor of Force users, and they seem to be the very dogmatic sort of one. You had, I think, I'm trying to remember what this was, the story of Darth Plagueis, where they had a couple other Jedi that they met, or not, other Force, other light users that they were allowed to have attachments, and I think they were even a couple or something or other. Whereas obviously, the Jedi strictly were not that way. So I think the Jedi have been, obviously the central power, but it's almost like they're just one flavor of a religion, if that's what it makes sense. Probably, the most destructive. So, it's what else? And I guess we sort of teased it out a little bit now. How sort of stuck are Sabine and Ahsoka in this other galaxy? Because there didn't seem to be a great deal of potential chatter between Ezra and that sort of, because obviously Ezra's gone back to get the normal galaxy. Whether or not he then knows how that they got there on the Purgle, on the space trail or whatever else, or from here do we see stories going in different ways, or will Ahsoka eventually get back to the galaxy proper?
I kind of assume that they will get back, but they just don't know how yet, and they'll somehow figure it out in the next season. Or
I think,
Question is
however,
whether they want to go back right now. Because
Yeah, they
my
do.
assumption, they probably will, one way or the other. But my assumption is that the main task was someone has to stop Thrawn, and that's now Ezra's task. It's out of their hand, and now they make the best of what life has to offer, and then
Time for a
trouble
break,
will find them.
holiday. But yeah, they don't seem that fast, do they? Like you would think,
No.
like just look at another galaxy, like you kind of, it's quite a big deal. But
Yeah, but it's
No,
not the main objective, and because if you have the lives of millions in hand, and your main objective was someone has to stop him, and it would have been better if they had stopped him right away where they were, but that's no longer in the cards. Now it's up to Ezra. They can only hope that he does the job, and if he's successful, then their goal is reached as well. Whether they end up in a different galaxy or not is not that important anymore. Where they are, they will go with the Force.
yeah, and I think that's a big thing, that they go with the Force, because that's obviously like a Force, like Amber was saying. It's obviously like a Force heavy area. Some of that's done with the Force. It's got Mortis gods there, so the world between worlds becomes more of a way to get out of, like, there's more options for them, it seems.
Yeah, I guess just moving forward, it's interesting to think about. If you've got the galaxy proper and then this other galaxy, and they're not coming back together anytime soon, would you be comfortable seeing a single show which then is flip-flopping between the two, because the stories are going to be so disconnected? Like you have them, in Galaxy proper, it's sort of like dealing with Thrawn and Hera and Chopper and all those guys. Yeah. And then in the other one, it's sort of like Baylan, Shin, Ahsoka, and Sabine.
Well, so I mean, that's why, like I said, I think this set up a movie. Like I think in Ahsoka, we're done with Thrawn. I think we're done, and Ahsoka, is now, like, that whole character, Sabine, Ahsoka, Baylan, and Shin. They are all free to have like their own story that happens there. And I mean, ideally, like Ahsoka season 2 is just that. I mean, no, I don't. I mean, if they do like once or twice, just a little, by the way, what's going on over here, because we're setting up something coming up, I guess that would be okay. But I don't feel like it needs it for me to remain engaged. I would be completely engaged in a show that's just Ahsoka, Sabine, this planet with Baylan and Shin.
Yeah, there's plenty of storyline in there.
Yeah, I think it almost has to be that, as because they would be, unless it's coming back together anytime. So it would feel almost like Book of Boba Fett where you had those couple episodes of Mando in it. So
She got an
Okay,
emergency.
I just want to put this out there right now. Please don't bring Grogu into it. Please. Please no Grogu.
yeah, no.
I love him, but not in Ahsoka. Please don't have him magically show up. Please.
Yeah, no, I think that's that's great. Although, where's Disney marketing at? Can someone have a chat to them? And let's text it here. I really need a Filoni interviewing, explaining the world between worlds and how exactly, because for me, the world between worlds, seeing Rebels operates very differently to the one we see in Ahsoka. I think that.
Is it for sure in Ahsoka, the world between worlds?
Yeah.
I mean, we never got official confirmation that that's the world between worlds. It's just where Ahsoka goes when she meets with Anakin.
Because there's something about it being different color, and it might just be like a choice for TV. But one of the videos I watched was like it's blue, whereas in Rebels the borders of the paths are blue, but in Rebels the borders of it are white. And there's just slight differences, but
yeah, and Jason could hear them fighting. Like I don't know what that was. I'm okay with not knowing what that was too. I'm perfectly okay with it being some mystical Jedi Force thing that happened, dream, whatever. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think whether if we start having too many things which become non-explained, whether then we're going to end up at a point where it starts to become confusing. It's like, was that world between worlds, or is this something different, or what is this planet the Mortis, or is this one that, or I think because the first part of what Tech was saying here, I really need a Filoni interview explaining, and then forget about the rest of it. But do we need to, like, are we starting to get to a point where there's just so much going on that we're just not even sure what is going on?
Feels like it's been set up for another series, and hopefully they do go on to explain it further. I think because we were unsure whether it's going to be like a standalone series or not. So at the moment, personally giving a bit of benefit of the doubt, and that is at least some of it hopefully will get explained in the next series.
Yeah,
but
we don't need to. Yeah, I was going to say we don't need to know everything just yet, do we?
No.
So it adds to the excitement, the anticipation. So more will be lightly explained as we progress through more episodes, more series, and so on.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope they don't just like forget. I hope they don't do a Lost and like start off all these storylines and questions and then just ignore them. Yeah.
I mean, we'd have problems if it's like confirmed it is the World Between Worlds in Ahsoka series 45, and we'll find out soon.
Yeah, hopefully, like very much.
Soon as in 2 or 3 years, when the second episode, when the second season
as
finally
soon as they're
comes out.
making the episodes and the next series. I just hope it doesn't get to something like where you had such a jump when you had Grogu and Luke and that whole training section and whatever, and it felt like it was very quick, but then you had Filoni having to come out and say, oh no, it was a couple of years, and it's like, well, it didn't come across that way. And because I can see Hive and Tech going backwards and forwards on the world between worlds and things like that, and hopefully if it was, then the aesthetic choices and it not being the same, and if we start getting Filoni then having to come out and confirm or something or other, it's like, no, that needs to happen within story. So I think with that, we're starting to get up.
I would like sort of like, not to excuse, the way it panned out. I do think that originally Grogu, my understanding is he was not supposed to come back that soon. And it was supposed to be a few years, and that there was some interference that kind of forced it to be shoved in there, meaning that like story-wise, it had meant to be a couple years, but they were forced to like shoehorn that into, Book of Boba Fett. So I wouldn't take that as like an example of when there's less interference from higher up, the story, I feel like it's told a little bit better, and is allowed to have its time and space.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping much the same, and it's good they've set off, a number of different threads. As we've sort of been saying, we can have this whole other galaxy with Ahsoka in it that can be its own sort of show and story. We can have Thrawn doing Thrawn things in the other galaxy and pick up with Hera and all of that. And just reading a couple of these comments here, lots of questions as well. If Ahsoka wasn't in the world before the worlds, how did she not drown? And
Trust the Force.
Trust the Force. Now, we are going to next week do sort of just a whole recap on the whole series, and we're actually going to have Hive join us for part of that as well, just once he's able to get I think in from work and things like that. So it's going to be interesting having a chat with Hive, because obviously if you've seen some of his streams where he can be very passionate about it and has certain takes on things, some of it's done for entertainment value, but it'll be good to have him in real time having a bit of a chat, and appreciated him and Tech being here as well. And yeah, Thrawn doing Thrawn things. So with that, I know we're starting to push up on the hour. I think we'll just quickly go through what we normally do is kind of just a rating for this particular episode, and any sort of quick comments in terms of how it is as a sort of episode 8, last episode of a series. If you just want to start this off there, One Brick Stud.
Yeah, 10. 10. Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Just loved it all, really. That was it. It was great. Just like I said, the disappointing thing was that it's just come to an end. So I was just enjoying it so much, and I just love what the foundations it's provided for Star Wars. It's exciting times, and just because it's finished doesn't mean we got nothing to look forward to. We got more to look forward to because of episode 8. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for me. An easy 10 out of 10.
Okay, brilliant, excellent. Lady McBrick, score out of 10, and how you felt it concluded as a series for these 8 episodes.
I would give it an 8. But it's a good 8. I really loved it. I enjoyed it, and I'm even happy with the how it turned out, even if it is different than what I had hoped for. It's not really a storyline that concludes in itself. We went out to look for Thrawn. We found him. Off he goes. That's usually the recipe for disappointment. But I am overall really satisfied with the finale that we got.
Okay, excellent. Great to sort of hear. And TJ, the score out of 10, and how it sort of fits in as a last episode to an 8-episode series.
I would say 9.5 out of 10. Really, really liked it. It's a great finale, I feel. Wrapped things up nicely, but then at the same time left me wanting more in the future, in a sense. They set up a lot, and I'm excited to see where all of it goes.
Okay, brilliant. And below, the same sort of thing, score out of 10, and as the final episode in an 8-episode series.
I mean, if I could give higher than a 10, I would. I loved it. It gave me, so it gave me maybe not everything I thought I wanted, but everything I needed, if that makes sense. There were things I'm like, oh, I want this, I want that. And then now that I've seen what happened, I was like, no, this is better. Like, this is so much better. And like I especially as like a Rebels fan, I got so many of those amazing connections. I got the Hera and Ezra like reuniting at the end. It's very It was very Rebels that he comes in that way, and the whole chopper thing was fantastic. His ship is called the Chimera, I think. I want that ship in Star Wars. Like, I've never, other than the Ghost, I've never desperately wanted a ship, but that would be so cool with like it being broken up and with the gold pieces like in it and stuff. And people could stop complaining that Star Wars ships are just a bunch of gray. We could have this really cool one with like the gold metallic stuff. And yeah, so Lego, we want that. Or I do. Maybe not anybody else, but I do.
You do there. And just before we get on to Brick Askew, anyone in the chat, if you want to give a score out of 10 that you thought just for episode 8, be interested to see any scores in the chat there. Brick Askew, Ollie, score out of 10, thoughts as a final episode in 8-episode series.
Yeah, 10 for me. I genuinely thought it was masterful. Like, the pace of it was awesome. All the fighting, all sorts of emotions. Properly tugged on the heartstrings, and it just rounded it off really well. I would have loved to know more, about all the other stuff they've introduced, but I completely see. If they tried to shoehorn that in, I think it would have been too much for the episode. And it's opened up for another series. Obviously, it's a bit of a shame with Ray Stevenson, or it's a massive shame with Ray Stevenson. But they've opened the doors to the wider Star Wars lore to the TV watching, film watching audience. That was kind of a lot more exclusive. It felt like you had to have gone out and watched Clone Wars and all of this other stuff. But now it's getting introduced to the wider market. Loved it. 10.
Okay, great. Yeah, and that's something, as I said, next week we'll look at it as a whole series, and that'll be one of the questions I've sort of noted down is how enjoyable was it with and without knowing the backstory to things like Rebels and Clone Wars and things like that. Certainly, I've, since the start of this series, not having watched any of the Rebel stuff and got into that, done the first 2 seasons, I know particularly Hive, sometimes with his wife and sort of things there, not having that backstories can really sort of hurt it and put some question marks over it. But that would be one of several things we know there. And Tech, I think an 8, like Emily said, I wanted more, but I got what I think I needed. Yeah, I sort of, for me, probably a 9. I think I'm taking half a point off for not having some sort of resolution with Baylan and, not getting much of Shin. It's sort of, think back to some of the early episodes when it's like, what are these guys up to and everything like that. I just don't think they kind of moved enough along on that. But otherwise, again, you got brought up in terms of the fight choreography and what we mentioned last week. And then certainly when we were watching it, you could really notice that, they pulled back for those longer shots and you could see more of the sequencing. So you're getting that, you're getting Thrawn doing Thrawn things and everything sort of coming in. There's some really good things in terms of the way that Hugh Yang was talking about Kanan and then Ezra kind of realizing, and those sorts of little tiny moments, I thought they did really, really well. And another question for, I guess, next week was the cast too big for this series in terms of, and that led to the problems with Shin's story and Baylan's story, but maybe that was setting it up for something bigger. So I think that's probably where we're going to be doing it there and seeing another score coming in. 9.7 is more unanswered question and Bailey future. And I think that was, obviously it was really unfortunate, and I guess that's another thing we can sort of have a chat next week. When they're doing the CGI de-aging and sort of whatever else, it's almost like if the actor is alive and they're kind of giving their blessing for it, it's okay. But if the actor's passed, does it go into that creepy realm? And is that going to get more well-defined moving forward? So lots of questions and everything there. And thanks for everyone who's been joining for this. And as I sort of mentioned, get Brick Hive in next week. might Tech, if you're still there and you want to jump in next week too, love to get your thoughts. I know you're probably in babyland at the moment. Congratulations on that again. Nice little girl. Hoping you're all healthy and everything. If we just want to do a quick whip around, just what you got coming up on your socials, and then we'll get out of here. Always appreciate our guests for this one. So I'll start with TJ.
Okay, so Monday nights, as usual, 7 p.m. Central is my Twitch stream. I have a new set to build. You know, this thing. Yes, it arrived today.
Amazing.
I'm very happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Central, Lub over on Bricksmith's YouTube channel. And that's it. And
Okay,
this,
cool.
of course, next week as well.
Next week. Okay, brilliant. No, that's good with that. Amber, what you sort of coming up on any of your socials?
So I am hoping to get back into streaming. I know I've taken some time off and just been here and there. But I've got some things I'm working on. It's going to be a different day, different time, different all that stuff. So keep an eye out for that. And I have been so out of things. I did not know that Tech had his baby. Oh my God, congratulations. I didn't know that. So yeah, had to throw that out there. And
just so you don't feel bad about it. None of us really knew until he popped into the stream earlier. So
oh, okay.
We're
Okay. Well, congratulations. Yes. Yes. Changing mid-nappy. Oh my gosh. Yes. So yes. But obviously I will be here next week. In fact, I am actually taking more time off next week so that I can be here for a longer period of time to talk Ahsoka and all that other great stuff. And you know, TJ and I, we do our occasional thing too. I'm sure we'll have something coming up for at some point. We're going to be doing the retiring sets that are coming up soon, and that's it.
Yeah, brilliant, excellent. Yeah, no, it's I'll try to chat with people during the week. We may start at maybe an hour and a half into the stream, so if people want to drop in and out at different times, sort of catching up on the whole series, might do it that way. But we'll sort of chat and talk about that during the week. Ollie, what have you sort of got coming up on your socials?
Going to Steam this weekend, just visiting. So that'll be good. Go to see lots of Lego creations and see a whole bunch of people. I think it sounds like there's going to be a good group of people there. And otherwise, I'm building the Booklink construction modular. So probably post something about that. And there's something in the works which I think hopefully announce a bit more next week. Yeah, otherwise be on here next week. That's me.
Okay, brilliant, excellent. Lady McBrick, what do you got coming up on your socials?
I am going to be back together with Fab Blondie. She's back, and on Sunday we are going to get together for the very first time in a very long time.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's Sunday. I'm just trying to think. Is it like 2 o'clock Eastern, which I think is like 7 o'clock UK?
Yeah, right.
So it's like 8 o'clock your time, I think, a start.
Right.
Yep. And that's on Flower. Can you say that? I butcher the name every time.
Fab Blondie Bricks.
Okay, brilliant. Excellent. Yeah, no, definitely check her out. And yeah, good that she's gotten back. I think she's gotten over sickness and everything else and just getting things back to order. So yeah, good to see you guys back on streaming and that. And One Brick Stud, anything coming up on your socials?
No, obviously appearing on Family Bricks next week. I'm still undecided what my next set's going to be. No backlog, so everything is just like built. I've just finished Green Gots. So I'm thinking that maybe Hocus Pocus might be the next set that I purchase. But I'm just waiting because I'm a sensible buyer. I'm going to wait till, because October's just like full of gifts with purchases. We've got double VIP points, so I'm going to see what I'm going to do. You know, when we enter the double, well, insider points, because yeah, I might pull the trigger on Hocus Pocus. And perfect month to do it.
Brilliant, excellent. Yeah, it's be a matter of just trying to figure out which GWP and all the rest of it. So I'm sure you'll time that and figure it all out quite well. So for me, and okay, just
Thank you.
Thank you. Very cool. For me, this weekend, Steam Swindon should be exhibiting there with this is only part of it and playing around with it during the day. So be that, and that's the main thing. I don't think I'll be getting to my top 5. If I get the bits, I may try to do. I've done some instructions out, so I may just do a quick little video of this. Little chopper there, and otherwise back next Thursday here, which we'll be doing a recap of the whole series of Ahsoka. Again, might just start that at the hour-and-a-half mark, because Brickhive can do part of it, and looks like Tech might be able to do part of it. And if there's anybody else watching or later on who wants to jump on, just drop me a DM on Instagram. And I think otherwise, usual social media things, share, like, subscribe. Everyone's details are down there. There's also down there a quick 10-minute video on ideas about Marvel series. That's Loki starting tomorrow, and just the idea of the series being 8 episodes and things like that, long enough, too short mini-series, which may pop up in next week's chat. And just a quick shout out to some people being in the chat. We've had Tech, Brickhive, KO, Mega Man, Brickpix earlier, TJ, who's now here, Simon, Ashley was in earlier, and there's probably a few others. Other than that, is there anything else anyone wants to sort of just quick shout out before we get out of here, in case we haven't mentioned anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I think with that, thanks very much, everyone, and have a good weekend. And trying to where is it? Got to really clean up some of this sort of stuff. We will see you all next week, and if you do happen to pop along to Steam, don't be shy, come and say hello, and hopefully meet some cool people out there. All right, take it easy. Bye.
Have fun. Bye.
See you later. Bye bye.
Mr. Bigger, det bliver super duper!
See ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.